Hello, can you hear me? Yeah, Marriott in the house. Marriott in the house. Marriott. You are right on time. You just clock in fast. Eh? How now? How has your week been? How are you doing? Has everything with you? Happy Monday. Happy Monday. How's your week been, oh, Abby? How is it starting? I hope you're starting strong. I hope it is starting strong. Eh? What's this? Okay, there we go. Marriott. Now you be cool. Highly favored in the house. Or you're a little under the weather, Marriott. Yeah. I beg, take care of yourself. Or you get Rob for house, Vicks, or what's the other one? Aniboku, I bet they call am. That strong one from Nigeria. Please rub your body with Vicks rub, I beg. And make sure you wrap up like a burrito because the weather is getting crazier and crazier. Even here where I am, it's not funny anymore. I can't remember. I've never felt this cold like this in California. Never, ever. It's getting worse. Like today, it was windy. It was cold. The sun was out. You couldn't even feel it. You have rub. Take rub. Use rub to rub your body from your neck down. Rub it down. I beg. Rub your body. Rub your chest area, your neck area. Rub them. Put them for your. I don't know that if you handle them for your nose area. Put them around there, my sister. Wear something cold. I know, me too, Marriott, me too, man. You and me, we're on that same boat, man. I'm trying to find a way out of this madness. I can't wait for Nigeria to be good. I'm telling you, I'm tired. Welcome, Neka, my darling. Welcome, Chinwe. Welcome. Hi. I hope you guys, your week is starting strong. I hope your week started strong. Hope you're having a great start to the week. I hope you're keeping warm. I beg you, don't let cold catch any one of you, please. You people should not let cold enter you at all. I beg you now. Because this weather, it's not funny. It's not for small children. No. This weather don't get mind of your own. Hello, incurable optimist. That is such a funny name. Incurable. I like that though. Incurable optimist. Like you're optimistic regardless. You don't care. You don't send them. You always think good no matter what. That's awesome. Incurable optimist. That's a wonderful name, by the way. Welcome to my live show. Thank you to all the first timers, to my new subscribers. My goodness, I appreciate you all. I appreciate my returning subscribers. You guys make this happen. I don't take it for granted, honestly. This is like a village to me. You guys are like my brothers and sisters in the village arena. Now, town hall we did tonight. Village meeting to address issues of concern to the community. Una welcome. I appreciate all of una. Thank you. I have my water here, so I don't have to get up and get water. Neka, how body now? How your side? I hope it's not as cold as it is here. Come here, I don't understand this our weather again. The thing not going to make sense to me. How your side? Obodo Igbo family, na so my sister. We welcome Obodo family. We plenty for here. Obodo Connect plenty for here. Welcome to the village side of the Obodo village people. Now be this. We gather here. Welcome, your family for sure. Yes. Whatever you have, Rob Abonike. Hey, I told her Aboniki. Rub your feet and wear. Thank you very much. I forgot the feet part. Neck, I think. Tell Amo, tell Marriott. Rub your feet with put rub. They can rub your leg, your feet, and then wear socks. I beg, wrap yourself like burrito, biko. Gravitas. Oh my God. Gravitas in a town hall. Different. Oh my God. Oh my God. Gravitas, you had me rolling on that one. A town hall different from Balabu. Blue, blue lava. Oh my God. Welcome, Gravitas. Good to see you. Happy Monday to you. Hey, okay. I don't want to take for you. We could just go right into the topic. So we are going to give thanks to, we're going to thank Marriott for suggesting this topic. So by na she suggest am now say make we come talk about the matter for here, village meeting, even though not be proper meeting today, but at least una know as they go now. We go fair address the issue, then we'll come talk about the general issues over the weekend for our village town meeting. That's different. So today's topic is single mom by choice, right? And let me see, where is that email? Okay, let's go there. Okay, so Marriott had a question. She was like, is single mom by choice? Okay, that's the topic. And other ways women are mothering, something that, so the new ways that women are mothering, choosing to have their children and take care of their children in this time of social media. What do you guys think about it? Some women are choosing to be single by choice, according to the topic. What do you guys think of it? What are your thoughts on that? Is this something you would do? Do you see yourself doing that? Do you have the resources? I actually downloaded a video from TikTok that had something to do with, but it's not really related. It's about a single mother though, but in the dating scene. So that's what. So what do you guys think? I want you guys to talk about this topic. Let me share my link. Me, I don't even want to. I want people to come and share their thoughts and with me. I don't have any opinion on this right now. Let's talk about it. So please use my link. Make we begin to talk. Women that are choosing to be single mothers by choice. What you not think about them, and other people that are and then choosing to care for their children in the way they want to. Gracious greatness. You say, what is the social media feeding? Yeah, in Britico accent. You guys are killing me. No, nah. According to me, no send anybody papa for social media. Now my own, I know. I'm a very old-fashioned person, so these things are relatively new to me. I'm learning as well, guys. So it's not like I know or have opinions on this subject. I know there are instances where women have children, and for someone, and the man chooses not to be, right? Chooses not to be in the life of that child for whatever reason. We don't know. So that woman ends up being a single mother. That's not by choice, right? But there are a few single women that are choosing to have children through, we say IVF, they call it, and raise them on their own. What are your thoughts on it? I'm not gonna tell you, if una not come, if una not use the link, this video no past 30 minutes, I'm done. Cause I know let me go talk for this matter. Mayor said, I saw a TikTok with a black woman and I had questions. Do you have the TikTok? Marriott, if you have the TikTok, can you share it with me in my email so I can play it? Hey, I wish I had the video. Okay. Let me see if I can. How about women adopting? Many Nigerian women, married or single, are afraid to even adopt. Well, that's a cultural thing because they have this mindset that there's nothing like your own. Do you understand? Yeah, Marriott, I beg, let me find them. Make you send them to me. Yeah, there's this mindset about, the way they see, the way Nigerian people see adoption. I know there are few Nigerian people that are adopting regardless, though. I know so that one they happen, but it's not common, it's not popular, and that's why you have so many orphans in Nigeria and different orphanages. And the sad part is most of these children are not cared for properly. And even when you donate money, sometimes those children don't get it too. Some of those children are vulnerable to all manner of abuse. So I wish a lot more people would adopt, whether they have children or not, especially in Nigeria with the level of suffering right now. But I don't know, I find that most Nigerian people don't have love enough to share with somebody else. What do you guys think? That's what I feel, because most times when people are raising other people's children, they don't take care of them well. They always maltreat them or take them for granted. They're faced with all manner of abuse and all of that. So I don't know, so it becomes difficult, because I don't know, there's a sense of not having enough love to share with someone else. I don't know why that is, but it shouldn't be, because we're not a people like that. Even in the old days, based on our ancestors, they used to take care of other people's children, no qualms. You know, I literally grew up with someone, a classmate of mine in secondary school. She was raised by someone that was not her mother. She was raised in a home. The woman who raised her was not her mother, but she called her mother because she doesn't know who her mother is. Just basically an orphan, but someone else took her up, raised her properly like her own child. And that's who she calls mother. And my friend was very well taken care of. She had the best out of all of us. Now they wear the finest clothes, the finest shoes, always has money, spoiled, man. I mean, not spoiled as in she had everything she needed. And she was very, very intelligent too. So I don't know. So it's not something I can say, okay, it's a new thing. This whole mindset of not taking care of other people's children well is a relatively new thing for our culture, because I mean there were people who grew up in homes that were not theirs. you know Adoption, even before the word adoption started, Africans were already doing that, because you literally have a woman that will be taking care of multiple children, her own, her other fellow wives, sometimes the community children, and she go take care of them, and she go feed them. Do you understand? So I mean, I don't know, so I can't say stigma, Chinwe, that stigma. I don't know, caring for another person's child that does not have love. I don't know, it's the way they want to stigmatize it in Nigeria. Do you know there's so many orphanages in Nigeria that is very sad for for the kind of wealth Nigeria has. Most people that are in orphanages should have love, to be honest. But people no dey gree do am. I don't know why. They go just abandon them. Even if they go visit them for the orphanage, they go give them food, give them money, but those children no dey see the money now, because people that are caring for them go share the money, share the food, no go give the children anything. you know so I don't know the thing. Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, God bless her adopted. But that girl, if you see her, she's a top person in Nigeria now. That my friend. So when I did top person, man, big madam. No joke, but she was smart. I'm not surprised. The girl was very intelligent, highly intelligent in school then. And her adopted mother treated her. Oh, when they come visit her that time when we did university, my God, all of us will go line up for her door. because her adopted mother was from Bayelsa. When the woman go cook orishi come like this, plantain this thing be like porridge, but hey, omo we dey chop for school that time. When we just know say mama dey come, all of us will arrange ourselves. Now truck the woman say they bring food come for that girl. He go follow and sit down, he go play with me, go talk to us, he go advise us, motherly advice, he go give us money where they come out. That's all of us will rush. When your mama they come now, we dey wait. No. My question will be, how will the child grow up? Theoretically, I don't think there's a hard and fast. There's none. Yeah, you're right. There's none. Gracious greatness. The problem with Nigeria, and I'm focusing on our community, is I don't know what it is. I don't know where the disconnect is coming from, because I know historically it's never always been like that. Because you've literally had grandmothers that raised all the children in the community. Matter of fact, when I was growing up in Ibadan, it was our neighbors, one of our neighbors' mother was staying with her. She was a granny and she was taking care of her grandchildren. She literally was taking care of all of us in the compound. All of us. When she dey share food, now so she go put her for tray, everybody go dey chop from inside. My darling bonbon. How are ya?
Hi, I have a headache.
Oh, I'm
My voice is not
sorry.
very sharp. I can't even do my devil's advocate work very well. I can't even be a troll self
Yeah.
like to Niger, but I'll try.
I'm sorry. I just saw your link now, so I'm gonna pause it. I put it up. I'm gonna pause it. Let me play it before you speak.
Yeah.
Because it got from another page. I don't think. Okay, my hey Mirabel. Oh, okay. Let me share my link again. Not so Mirabel don't come again. I thought I posted the link before. Maybe it went up so fast.
No,
Okay,
she's
put the link.
complimenting you for actually putting up the link from the beginning of
Oh,
the.
okay. I didn't catch
Yeah.
it. All right, Mirabel, my darling. Thank you. Big Beo, Cabo. Káàbọ̀ sí orí how they talk am for Yorùbá? Hey, oh my
Oritage.
Yorùbá. Orí ìtàgé. Orí ìtàgé. Káàbọ̀ sí orí ìtàgé wa yìí o.
Oh God, I don't
Good
want to
to
laugh.
see you.
Head.
You'll be looking forward. Okay, now. All right.
It looks like people have something to say about this now. But
Yes,
let me try
I
and
want
annoy.
all the contributions.
Let me
I
try and
beg.
annoy people small, then I can get off.
Yeah, let me play the video. Oh,
Okay.
you okay? Go ahead, talk now. Play the video.
No, because I was watching. I was just reading something on the forum, and then I saw the post, and
Okay.
I read about it before, but I was like, maybe this could be a topic. Because remember, was it last year that on Auntie B's channel, she talked about Iniedo, I think. She had a baby and
Yes.
she used a donor, blah blah blah. And on one hand, I feel like, sorry, am I echoing?
No, you're fine.
Okay. On one hand, I feel like there are people who would love to be mothers but don't have any kids. Or sorry, would love to be mothers but don't have any kids, and they're waiting for a partner to happen to have the child. Like they're trying to do it the right order for us, right? That's the right order. You get married and then you have a baby. And but they really, 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 really want to be mothers. But because they're waiting for the husband to show up, but he doesn't show up, or they don't, meet the person, they miss out on being a parent. And when you talk to those types of people, their regret is not that they didn't get married. Their regret then becomes they never had a child. So I don't know. For people like that, I would think that it would be useful for them to be able to do that, or to be able to be adopt. Of course, there's the flip side of, if you adopt a child, you don't even know the child's parents, where they're from. You don't you have very limited information about the child that you adopted sometimes. And then if you go this route of single mom by choice, and then you go through IVF, there's all the hoops of finding a black donor. There's been the hoops of being a single parent, period. There are all the issues of, I think it was Gracious that was explaining, how do you then raise the child? How do you, when the child is 10 and asking you questions, how do you answer the questions? So there are downsides, but I feel like why these women are trying to do the right thing by waiting for, and these men, because when I read it, I came across them, they were meant to. If these people are waiting for their partners to get married, and they don't have a partner, does it mean that because they missed out on one, then they should forever not have the other one? Like, how is that fair? And people that are telling them, don't do this, never do this, maybe are results of single parent homes themselves, or like people who are married and have kids. So it's easy for them to say, I mean, the married ones with kids, it's easy for them to say, right? They're not faced with that. So I think it has an upside, but it does have its, not so great sides as well. I don't know. Oh my God, you're too quiet.
Because I had to mute myself, perhaps because of the echo. You had mentioned echo, so I just figured maybe because I was my mic was on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my thought process. I know I've mentioned it here before. Like, for some reason, I know so many women who have actually just never had kids.
Is it by choice? Okay, they're waiting for the right person.
They were waiting for a husband, and they're trying to do the Nigerian way, where you hit a certain age and you're not finding somebody, then you start going to church, then you start sleeping in church, then you leave your own church and start going to Mountain of Fire in the evening. Then you go to Mountain of Fire in the evening, you start going there permanently. I don't know what they call their own church, prayer mountain, prayer city, I don't know. Then you start living there permanently, hoping for the person to come. And most people will meet somebody, right? Most people will meet somebody and they'll get married and they'll have their precious baby, and that'll be the end. But for some people, it will never. Like, I have an aunt, I have like aunties, friends of mom. Actually, unfortunately, one of them just passed away. No kids.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it really sucked. And why is it? No, Binko, we're not reacting to the video. We're having the topic, just a general conversation about the topic. I watched the video, and I thought it was interesting because I've seen it a couple of times. So for me, I just think that it's easy to say, yeah, don't do
I'm going to share the video after Marriott speaks, so everybody can hear.
Yeah. So it's easy to tell somebody, don't do this. It's very selfish, which, again, all these things are correct. But why is it that because these people are waiting for one thing to happen, they have to miss out on everything? That's my thought.
Okay. Well, there's no one way to these things. The only thing I would say to that is it depends on how open your mind is, right? There's no one way to it. Like I was saying earlier, there are a lot of kids to be adopted, though. Back home, we have this mindset that it has to be our own. You have to be married before you have children. You have to, have attained a certain status, whatever it is that anybody wants to try and get to before they feel like they need to have, right? You can chew gum and walk at the same time. In that same Nigeria, I know somebody who adopted. We're working in the same office. She adopted one, and the person was going and then had to go to boarding school. Because she passed the federal government exam, and she went to federal government school. So there was nobody in the house, and she was kind of like, she was feeling kind of lonely or whatever. She adopted a second one, and she wasn't married. She didn't have any in that same Nigeria. She wasn't married. She didn't have any man in her life, but she was just doing it because she wanted to, right? Eventually, the first one got into the university. She eventually got married, though, to an Italian man. She lives in Italy right now, right? And the person that she ended up with, I think, has a child or something like that. But she already has like 2 adopted children that she's taking active care of, that look up to her. So it just depends on how open-minded you are and how knowledgeable, maybe for lack of better words, you are to receiving these things or seeing life, right? There's some people who just think one way track mind, like, oh, I have to be married before this. You don't have to be married to achieve a lot of things, to be everything you want to be. If you feel like you need children in your life, right? Personally, maybe I'm biased. I would prefer to have a child by a man, right? And the man is active in that child's life. That's just me. Because of that, I'm not just gonna go out and help myself. It doesn't
So
sit well with me because I feel like I'm going to be depriving that child of a very, very important, maybe because I grew up in a two-parent home and I saw the both sides. I saw how important, how now when I look back, I'm like, wow, I'm so glad I had the opportunity of having this experience with a father, right? So this is me, this is how I think. But I would adopt though. As a
but
single
that's
person.
another, yeah,
Mhm,
like even though the single mother by choice people was the story that I saw, but it made me
mhm,
think of other ways that people can have children, that but they're all generally discouraged in Nigeria. I remember there's a lady that was like a TV host, no, radio host, I don't know, years ago. She she announced that she had adopted a child, and she was very excited on radio. I think she was very excited that she had adopted this child, but I think she was either like in her late 20s or something like that. And her family did not let her bring the child to her house. The child had to remain at the orphanage because this, she said, they told her that because she wasn't married, she can keep caring for the child at the orphanage, but she cannot bring the child, like live with the child and be a mother to the child. So like you said, you wouldn't choose one option, which makes sense, you choose the other. But it's crazy how all those forms are discouraged, and people, men or women, that want to adopt, for example, or be a little radical and do the single mother by choice one, it you're kind of discouraged from doing that because it's not seen as the like good, it's not seen as the right way. But my issue with that kind of pressure leads you into missing out, every if that's what you want, missing out everywhere because you're trying to conform to what they're saying is the right, even adopting. They don't want you to adopt. I know people where there were like families. This one actually happened in my mom's church. So the pastor of that church and his wife were having trouble having kids. So they were now like deep into their mid 40s and they didn't have any kids. And so the pastor and his wife decided to adopt a child. And you know how Nigerians are, whatever their pastor is doing is becomes what they all want to do as well. So what started happening in the church was that people who had couples who had trouble having children in that church also went and adopted children too. So I think my my train of thought is, but these are other options that couples can do, or women on their own, or men on their own can do, but they don't because of where we're coming from. They feel like they don't have permission that it's okay. Like if somebody gives them permission that it's okay, they would do it, because all these couples sat there, and I'm sure they were trying it every other way, but they didn't want to do the adoption until their pastor and the pastor's wife took that route.
right. So, of course, that's how Nigerians are, right? Culturally, because people push against stuff like that. But the irony of it all is that going back history, there were women who couldn't have kids. What did they used to do? They will find somebody maybe who has multiple children, right? And they would give some children to the person that doesn't have, and leave her to take care of the child and actually take that child as their own. It wasn't called adoption, but they were doing it right? There were people, there were grandmothers, literally, maybe that didn't have any children, but they ended up raising a lot of communal children. I'm just talking about history a little bit now. This whole mindset that people have currently in Nigeria has been developing for some time, right? Because I don't know, I think people have just slowly become very detached from a lot of the things that came naturally. For instance, my grandmother took care of multiple children of for other people. She only had how many children, right? She only had what, let me see, 6 children, but she had so many children that she took care of that were not directly hers. Even me growing up, there were kids that grew up with us that were not directly related to us, because maybe my parents wanted to help one way or the other, right? Now, this whole thing of people thinking that is a stigma, there were even back in the day, if couples couldn't have children, guess what they used to do? They will go and find a woman in the village that will get pregnant for the husband. And then after a few months, they'll bring the child, and that child will become the couple's child. They will just take care of that woman in the village, maybe take care of her expenses or whatever, build her a small house, whatever agreement they come to. And then they'll take that child and bring that child up as their own. So these things are still being done, but maybe not as much as, you know, not in the open like that, because it's still happening. It's still happening till today. Matter of fact, I have a friend who called me 2 months ago, and she said she wanted to go and adopt. These things are happening. It's just that we're not hearing them as much. And yes, most families generally, the way they see it is you must have your own. You must have your own. No, you cannot bring the child in. It's not your own. And you have to be careful how you adopt, because you don't know the kind of head that the child brought. The person you might go and adopt now, go and adopt a monster. You don't know. There's so many things that are tied to it. But to that, I say, I think you have to get to a point of self-realization and realize that you're not living for the society, you're living your own life, and you have to be willing to damn the consequences, because there are people who are doing it in Nigeria, even though it's not as popular, or they are not putting it out there, but people are doing it. So even though, yes, the church, for instance, especially, you have people praying for years, fasting for years, they're waiting for fruit of the womb. That's what they call it, Abby. Fruit of the womb, they go wait to fruit no go come, fruit no go come, right? For those kind of people, because Yoruba say ori omo lo n pomo waye,
Oh
Abi, no be
God.
so?
Oh Lord.
So when you bring another child into your home, that child will create, if you provide the love and
To go and call their
it will go
cousins
and call her
and
mates or his mates. Oh yeah, come,
yeah.
it's good here. Oh. But that thing is true though. I remember there was a pastor I knew in the church I used to go to in Nigeria. This guy had been married with his wife for over 30 something years, no child, right? So I think the head pastor, they now advised him, go and adopt, just try not. So they adopted a girl. They adopted her, started taking care of her and everything. If you see, oh my God, they literally decided there was a glow about them that everybody noticed. Do you know the following year the woman got pregnant? No kidding. This one a fact. This one I see on myself. The following year, this woman got pregnant and had her own child. She had a son. So, in as much as, yes, oh, you're sharing a link, Gracious Greatness, that link to the video that I just mentioned. I don't see link. Oh, where the link? Okay, when you share the link, let me know. I don't know whether I go feel. I can't play it. Send it to my email. Let me open it. Let me send you my email here. Where is this? Send it to my email. Send it to my email, Gracious Greatness. I beg. So I will just pop it up here as well. So, Those are my thoughts on that. Because yes, what the society would have their own stringent ways or structured ways of looking at things. And have we not known that in Nigeria for a while? Even to be single self is a stigma in Nigeria, because they will be giving it to you to from all corners if you're single in Nigeria. But there are single people in Nigeria and they're thriving. They're damning the consequences. What are they going to do? They don't have anywhere else to go. Gradually, it is the people that are strong enough that will eventually break the stereotypes of and demand and will be forced to respect people for their choices.
Oh boy, they are still lying. They are still lying about doing IVF, claiming that they were childless for 35 years and then they just got pregnant. They are still lying. They are still going to do
Some
testimony to
people will
test.
lie,
They are still
especially in the
lying.
church. Yeah,
They're still
they will
lying.
say, yeah, I know people lie about that, but the
So,
ones that are honest, and general Nigeria has a silence culture anyway. They will not want to share anything they feel like is going to be people will look at them one way, they won't want to share. But the truth is, right, this if you really go and find out, you find out that it was, I am sure that the woman, the pastor's wife that eventually got married, she probably did IVF and it
she
fell
probably,
through.
yeah, she did. She did. She
You
did. She
understand what
did.
I'm saying? Exactly.
Or they,
It
or
probably
they
fell
did.
through.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So my own is, there's no one way. Do you just live your life? Because guess what? Society will remain. Human beings will leave this earth. So which one do you want? Do you want to live for society that doesn't care about you? How many people society want monitor? I know that you have to get to a place of self-actualization and realization to know that I have to live my life the way I feel, or however I have to live this peaceful life, and whatever peace represents to you. If it means, okay, I feel I want to adopt a child now, I feel ready. Like my friend, when she called me, she's like, I'm so ready. I really want to. I'm like, girl, do you? I'm happy for you. Please let me know. I'll be there for you if you need me. And that's it. So they will have to get used to it at some point. Let me play this. Oh, wow. I called the German embassy. Oh, boy. Hold on one
Okay.
second. Let me go back and
Let
share
me
this.
get off. I'll be in the comments.
Okay.
So I have
I'll
been getting
listen.
questions in my inbox about why I decided to become a single mom by choice and what is her ethnicity. So first, why I became a single mom by choice. I already have a 13-year-old son. Once I had him, I was like, we're good. I'm good with just me and him. But in 2020, I actually was in a relationship or situationship, something, and I became pregnant with my second son. Unfortunately, January 2021, I lost him due to incompetent cervix, and my water broke. So after that, I really just was like, okay, I really wanted another child. But my relationship ended. And so I decided that, being that I turned 40 and last year and no prospects at that time of a relationship or anything or marriage or anything like that, I decided I'm going to do this on my own. So that's exactly what I did. I actually went through 3 rounds of IUI because my insurance covered it, but they didn't work. So I went through IVF to conceive her. As I don't know where this top is. As far as her ethnicity, I wanted an African American donor. However, it was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. There's not that many. And then on top of that, after all the testing, Lord, we cannot keep socks. After all the testing that I did for IVF, I ended up being CMV negative. I'm not really sure what it is, but I wasn't exposed to it, or I haven't been exposed to it. So I had to choose a CMV negative donor. With that being said, that made the search even smaller. So her donor is actually Arabian, Lebanese, in that genre. So her donor is kind of olive skin tone. So I figured with my melanin, his olive skin tone, she would get a little color to her, maybe later on, but right now she is light skinned, and it's fine. I'm gonna love her either way. So that is why I became a single mom by choice. And so,
okay, when I hear the OG Stabby, so she chose to be. So there's nothing wrong with that. So no judgment here. Oh. Everybody go do their life the way they want. Personally, society, no, I know they follow society dance. I never ever dance to society tune. I mean, obvious, it's obvious. I know they do what everybody else they do. I just my own life just different like that. You understand? Where I come from, women know they wait around. Like they marry them fast, fast, like you are married, sharp, sharp, sharp. Very, very rare for you to find someone from where I come from that's single and at an advanced age, and not, it's very rare, right? Maybe now it's happening, but back then when I was coming up, you're getting married, they're matchmaking you, or you find somebody, you fall in love, and you're getting married. There was no two way about it. You understand what I'm saying? So I've never really lived my life according to how society dictated. Okay, so everybody has a right. Personally, I feel that you can walk and chew gum. There's no one way to live your life, however way, whatever that means to you. You know, Egosa says all of them are IVF life. Egosa, welcome. No two ways about it. I wonder why the church they concede the wonders of you want make your market spoil, Egosa. Hey, miracle. Testimony, rebete. You want make their market spoil. They don't like science for their congregation. Exactly. It's faith and divine. Yeah, that's what they want, right? Praising science will be bad. Exactly. Clarita says to each his own. As long as she's happy, she's not losing her mind. Because some people go do this thing because everybody they do them. Come they cry after. More. I know people who have been trying to do IVF, single people wanting to have their child on their own, and it not work. The emotional roller coaster they went to because they really desired to have children. So those kind of people, hey, I can't judge them. I don't feel what they feel. So if that's your way, please, by all means, so you understand. If I'm in a position to help you babysit, I will do it. But I'm not you, right? So I will do it for you. But if I don't fit babysit for you, you are too far. Sorry. I fit send you baby diaper once in a while. You know. That's the exact Godson. That's what I just alluded to. There's some people who will do this thing because everybody else is doing it, not understanding why the other person did it. And they start complaining of being overwhelmed. That's the part me I don't get. Because if you decide to walk this path, be prepared. Because that child is going to grow up and ask you at some point, who is their daddy? Are you ready? Like I know I read a story one time of some lady, she did IVF, she had twins, she was very excited and all of that, right? So the children grew up now, they ask for their papa. They were giving this woman a lot of problems. They were asking. This woman broke down. She said it's becoming overwhelming. She didn't expect this to happen, that she would not advise people to do it, especially if you don't have any help. It's a very tough work. That na person where maybe decide saying won't do regardless. Maybe she was ready at the time, but she didn't know what amount of work she would have to put in. So that's the part for me. That is why for me personally, I would not choose to have a child on my own. Why? I grew up in a two-parent home and I see the significance of a father, a male and a female. I see it, so I would feel like I'm depriving the child of a necessary vitamin. That's just me. It's my opinion, right? Even if I'm going to adopt a child, best believe I'm not going to adopt that child by myself. Mbano. I may have it, even if, okay, I'm not married or whatever, I can have a male friend that's also as vested, because you know there are arrangements like that, that loves children and doesn't mind. I will have that. I will make sure I create that environment for that type of child. I will not do that to a child, you know, personally. That's just me. Let me I think Gracious Greatness shared another video with me too. Let me see. Let me first listen to it. I'm gonna go on mute. Ha! Artificial womb facility, Ecto Life. It's 8 minutes long. I'm just gonna play very few seconds of it. Maybe a minute of it. Let me start from the beginning again.
Introducing Ectolife, the world's first artificial womb facility, powered entirely by renewable energy. Ectolife allows infertile couple to conceive a baby and become the true biological parents of their own offspring. It's a perfect solution for women who had their uterus surgically removed due to cancer or other complications. With Ectolife, premature births and C-sections will be a thing of the past. Ectolife is designed to help countries that are suffering from severe population decline, including Japan, Bulgaria, South Korea, and many others. The facility features 75 highly equipped labs. Each state-of-the-art lab can accommodate up to 400 growth pods or artificial wombs. Every pod is designed to replicate the exact conditions that exist inside the mother's uterus.
Ha! Chengbo! Are you people hearing? I beg, go and watch it on your own time. 8 minutes, 40 minutes long. You shall get the general idea. Eh? The woman sounded like she was replacing the baby she lost. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. She couldn't tell us what the other race was. Yep. The who is my daddy part, it scares me too. Like, why would I want to do that to my child? This is how I feel. Why would I want to do that to my child? You know, why would I want to deprive them of their father? I mean, that's just me. Maybe I'm too old-fashioned. That's just me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm open to IVF. Let's say that's the option I had. I will do it, but best believe there will be a daddy involved. The work that goes into taking care of a baby. I don't babysit for people. I don't do where they just born newborn baby. Hey, the care no be here. Oh, you know, go sleep again. Forget. Say bye-bye to sleep. You are sleeping 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, because the baby we will sleep 1 minute, the next minute they are awake. Hey, sometimes the mama needs sleep, right? So the father has to step in and be waking up and carrying the baby in the crib. Who gonna do that if I do it on my own? Will I be calling you, Marriott? Will you answer my phone? Can I pick up the phone and say, Marriott, please come, I need your help. Will you come? You know? Egosa says the answer is simple. Tell the children how they came into the world. Tell them they are miracle babies ordained by the universe. It's that easy, I believe. Really? Yeah, Egosa. Yeah, you can tell them the truth, but they still want to know their source. They still want, because when they go to school, they are saying people talking about their daddy. You don't know what this thing they do to children. They will come home and still be asking, because they would have gone, their friends to tell them, when you go say, no, I don't have a daddy, it was the universe that gave me, I'm a gift, this and that. They'll say, no, but you still, you know, some of us Sabi children, your mommy still would be, a man should have been with your mommy to give you, so that you can come. They'll come explain in details. The explanation when the mama no agree give. he go receive am for school from his classmates when they be over sabi, when the parents they tell everything. Never know it dey happen. Never know. Children are mean, no. Yeah, alien sci-fi movie come to life. It won't be easy, exactly, because the children will want to know. They will be getting questioned. They will be, in fact, the one oversabi children in school be telling them how babies are made. You don't understand. Oh my God. Even when we say our cousins for here when they thief long time ago, generations after, they still they look for their, this is how important this thing is. They still they look for how they want to trace their heritage, go at least when they get idea of which part of Africa they come from. This is not a joke. Oh. If you're going to do it, be prepared. If you want to do it on your own, please be prepared mentally, physically, psychologically, spiritual. Be prepared and make sure you have arrangements around you. There's an actress, I think she's an African American woman. I forget her name. She used to do comedy now, but she had a show one time. Somebody had a baby, right? And the person decided that they wanted to give the baby to her because they loved her so much. The person was a huge fan of hers. So she'd never had a baby in her life. She'd never been married. So she was moved by that gesture. So she definitely took on that baby, started caring for that baby. Guess what she did? She got around her friends, male friends, female friends. Everyone took turns in babysitting. Okay. Then she had this one single guy that really loved children, that was in the life of this boy. They told him how he came to be, told him he knows who his real mother is, he knows who his real father is, but he knows that he's been brought up by this woman who is his mother. You understand? And the guy is so loved by all her friends and this one. So when she and the guy, they quarrel, they're not they date too. They're just friends when they don't know from when they're small. So the guy is like a family member. Even when they fight, the guy still comes to see the boy. Even when they're not in talking terms, the guy will still come, show up, pick up the boy from school, take him home, sometimes pick him up at home, take him to school, sometimes maybe take him out on the weekend and go and play with. No. You have to be prepared. The woman even said, man, nothing prepared her for this, that she couldn't do this alone. It's not possible. My big pay, my sister, welcome, Ojere.
Sister, I do. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. How you have been?
On the camera. Okay, I don't put you.
How you been?
My sister, I've been good though. The cold there, it's not here. I don't understand. Is this what
you see this cold there?
Global warming is?
It's been so irritating. Like, it just makes me so irritated. It's too much. I just feel so irritated. Like, I feel like going to somewhere that is so warm. But I thought California is not that cold.
My sister, it's now cold though. California is becoming East Coast now. As I tell you, in the morning I was going to go for a walk. I saw the sun. I don't know, say not deceptive sun. As I came out, the cold wind that first visited me.
You ran back.
It be like the cold. It be like the cold everywhere today.
Really?
Is there your side too?
Yeah, Germany bad today. After yesterday was nice, the whole of this week was nice, but today was crazy. Today has been crazy.
I can't. We still have a couple of months to go because winter is always longer than summer. I feel like just going somewhere warm, where there's beach. I could just relax and be drinking orange juice or lemonade on the beach because I don't drink. Just relaxing. Anyway, it is well. My sister, this topic today, I agree with everything that you said so far because I'm not judging anybody that want to have a child. Maybe they are looking at their biological clock. They feel like, oh, I'm getting old. I want to have a child. I don't want to be raising a child when I'm 50 or 60. But what I always think about is this child that you're having, this is a human being. And once you have this child is going to have their own path in life. They are going to grow old and leave you. But if you don't make the right decision, or you don't make the right choice that would not impact their life negatively as they grow old. Because me, I always look at it from the position of the child. Fine, you want a child, you want a child, you want to raise a child. But even if you have to do that, I would prefer get someone that you know, or at least the sperm is traceable. If the child grow older and you want to know his family, his father's side of the family, you can say, okay, this is your father's house. This is me, I might sound old school, but at least this is his house. This is your father people. It's not left if the father doesn't want to be in his life or not, but at least, he knows, because it might sound easy that, I want to go and get a child or adopt. Even people that are adopted, because I do watch some videos some shows where people that are adopted, when they grow older, they will trace their parents, their biological parents. They will trace their biological parents. That doesn't mean they didn't have a good upbringing or they were maltreated. Most of them, they had good upbringing, they had good families that loved them, that raised them well. But for some reason, since when they get older, they get to adulthood, they feel like maybe something is missing, so they have to still go back and look for their biological parents. And these are children that are adopted. They had a fantastic upbringing, they were raised well, and they were loved and cared for. Now talk of a child, a random person, you don't even know who this sperm is from, you just get it and you have this baby. That's when I don't know, I'm not really agreeing with it, but that doesn't mean I'm judging anybody. Want to do it, fine. But my own take is, let it be traceable. Let the father side of that child know who the father is. But
Why?
One second, Egosa, 1 second. I want also address this comment by Miriam. Say, if someone adopts a child as a single person, isn't it better than having zero parents? Yeah, it's better, but here's the thing, Miriam. It's sorry, Egosa, what do you say?
I am with Marriott on that. We are on the same page.
Yeah, but in this case, sometimes people get overwhelmed. So my own thing is, if you know you can do it single, right? That's fine. There are people who have done it single and they're fine. But sometimes some people are not ready for the work ahead because they don't know until the challenges come. You don't know, right? So now when they get to that point, then they start to become overwhelmed. This is what I'm talking. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with you showing, because like I said, I give an example of someone I know in Nigeria. She's in Italy now. She adopted 2 children on her own. She was single. But guess what though? She had people, her family, brothers and sisters were around those little ones that she was bringing up. So when she would go to work, right, her brother was there, her sister was there, right, and then she had neighbors. Nigeria was relatively safe then, so people looked after your own. Once you take care of, once they know and you can, they will take care of, exactly. So even though she was single, she still had that support system. It's not like here.
Exactly. Can I comment quickly before you continue?
Sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, you continue anyway. But okay, now, so which means that this conversation should be about support system, not necessarily a father. The way you explained it, it should be the support system, because it's because you just explained it earlier on about the sleep deprivation and all those things, you understand? So which means that is the support system, even if, let's say, you can afford it to have a nanny or 2, because nanny also supposed to sleep now. If you can afford a nanny or 2, I mean, that support system, than to kind of emphasize the father. Okay, like someone like me, I think you were on that platform, Omoye. I I grew up from a single parent home, my mom.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right, I
I
remember your
never had
story. Yes. Good.
good. I never had a father for 1 minute in my life. And proudly so. I don't regret it for 1 second.
But you
Yeah.
know who your father is, right?
No.
Okay.
But you know where
We
your
laugh.
father family are. You know where he came
No,
from.
I don't okay. Simply put, I don't
Mm-hmm.
have a father. I don't have a father. I don't want to know him. I don't wish to know him. And like I said, like I always say, if this is how single parenthood is, I would like this woman to bring me into this world over and over and over again.
Okay, so that's your experience. So your
Mm-hmm.
That's my
experience is like,
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's my experience. So that is why. So what I'm saying, what I'm trying to say is that I to generalize on this issue that maybe the children will come and start fighting to look for their fathers and all those things. For me, circumstances or maybe or perhaps socialization will make them look for their father. Because, for example, like not long ago, right? Oh my, yeah, not long ago, right? Okay. Um, I went to African shop to get food stuff. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Yes.
Okay. I went to African shop to get food stuff, and that shop was being and that shop is owned by an Edo guy. You understand? So he asked my name, and I told him. He said, "Ah, no be Benin name be that." I say, "Yeah." Say, "Ah, so you be my brother?" I say, "Wow." So we started talking. So he asked me, "Ah, where for Benin you come from?" I said, "I don't know." He said, "What? You don't know?" I said, "I don't know." You understand? He says, so we were talking and he said, you supposed to go find your papa, oh, and you supposed to go find your papa, blah blah blah. You supposed to know where you come from, you supposed to find your papa. I say, when from the time them born me until when I dey old, now when me say don't qualify to be papa. They no come look for me. He didn't come to look, he did not come to look for me. You understand? So why must I be the one now to go looking for them? You understand, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Yes.
cannot.
I think
Yeah. Why must I be? Why? Because the way you guys are saying it, right?
mm-hmm.
Why is it always the responsibility of the children to go look for one Mongo Park parent? Why?
I
Why?
don't think it's about looking for, it's about knowing where you belong. You don't have
No,
to
but
look for your father. You don't have to look for him,
it's
but you
not
know that my father came from so 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 place. This is his name. That's where me I'm coming from. I'm
where
talking
you
about
belong.
child
Where you belong.
psychology.
For me, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you belong to your mother. Home is not where we live. Home is not where we live. Home is where we belong, and where you belong is not by lineage. You understand? And where you belong is not by lineage. It's not by tracing your roots. You see, I mean that's my own. That's my
Mm-hmm.
own
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
Augusta,
yeah,
I understand what you're saying completely. You see, people have different experiences with this. Do you understand? There are some
yeah.
people who, are single parents and their story is like your own, or maybe even a
Mm-hmm.
little bit different, right? And they
Yeah.
are content and they are happy. For them, all those things don't matter.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal for them. As far as they're happy, they love their mom, they have their mom in their lives, they're good. But that's not in the great majority.
Yes,
So we are
exactly.
in a society where, and
Mm-hmm.
when I say society, everybody has different ways of
Hmm.
deciding how they want to live their life, right? Some
Yeah,
parents, some people would actually make the choice and say, okay, I want to be a single mother by choice. I want to
yeah,
have a child, right? I
yeah,
want to have a
yeah.
child. And they go ahead, maybe it's IVF, we go to a sperm bank, whatever. And they get pregnant. and they have this child. For the,
Yes.
when they have this, they're excited, everything is going, and then maybe the child has a medical condition that they're not aware of. It just came up. Then they go to the hospital, and then they have to find and trace. Okay, it now becomes a chore, something that's overwhelming, because nothing prepared them for this part of it, right?
Yeah, because for me, it all depends on the circumstance. Like what you're explaining, right? I get you. I get you 100%. It all depends on the circumstance that the child is born. But for me, right, sisters, I am so against children going to look for parents who never cared for them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you.
It is appalling. Why do you need to go look for tracing your roots, or going to look for somebody who never cared for you? And it is a slap on the mother's faces. You understand? It's a slap on the mother's faces, because you're telling them, sorry, you're not doing a good job, you're not adequate for me, I need something, I need more. You see. But for the other one, but for the others mode of birth, where the child will be like, oh, okay, let me trace my roots and all those things, that's understood. But for a circumstance where the father did not care, and at the end of the day, the children will start go looking for somebody who never cared for you. Come on, I don't buy.
But that's like individual preference, though. That's individualist. It's not everybody that will go and look for their father that abandoned them. You don't care, but some people will care, and that's reality. You know what I'm saying? It's reality. You don't care, but I can tell you, most people will care, even though the father was not there. Even though the father was not there, it's only the mother. But most people will care. From what I know, I might be wrong, but most people, they will care, even if the man is not there. But they just want to know that at least this is where my father's side is from. They don't even have to have a relationship, because this is the society that we live in. You know, people will always judge you where you come from, who you are, who are your parents, or whatever. So some of them, they'll be feeling like, oh, I don't even know anything about my father's side, even though the man was a useless father, but not even there. But they still want to know. Not because they want to strike a relationship, and some will do strike a relationship with that man just to get his own side of the story, that why did you abandon us? But most people will want to know that this is where my father came from, full stop. That's just the reality, you know. That's where me.
So to you, knowing the town and the name of a town or the village, that's not enough.
I mean, it depends on the person. It has to do with the person. That person that will make the decision, that is it only the town that I want to know, or I want to know where my father's house is in the village, or what is their name, what does this family do, what are they known for. It depends on the person. You know?
But Como, don't you see that we are living in a highly patriarchal society where even if a father is worth nothing, his role in somebody's life is still being so overemphasized, even if he worth nothing, not materially, you understand? Where at the end of the day, mothers are not being appreciated, because even if a man is not there, they always see the children as if the child is incomplete. You understand?
Exactly.
As if a child is incomplete without that man. So for me, it's huge. It's hugely patriarchal, because I believe all of you here are feminists, right? Where we come from, women are complaining. There's this thing of women are incomplete without a man. Women are incomplete without a man. You know, culture and all those things. Or woman is incomplete without a man. The same thing goes to children, where they'll see like, okay, children are also incomplete without their fathers. So what's this thing about men? Why are women so? Why are people, even the child and the mother, why are they so overemphasizing they just inflate men's ego for nothing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess because a woman cannot have a child without a man, you know, being in the picture. Whether it's a sperm donor or was adopted, it was the man and the woman that brought that child into the world. I guess that's what my own understanding.
So even if a man is of no use, useless papa, let the man just sit down there. Make you just a look and say, okay, now my papa be that. Then you are complete. You feel good.
I mean, some people, but you know another thing, Efusa, is some people they have trauma from their father being absent in their life. They have some people they have unresolved trauma through that because
Exactly.
of that too, and they grow up and they start behaving one kind. You be wondering what is wrong with this person, you know.
Then
A
let
lot,
them go for. Then
unfortunately,
let
a
them.
lot
Yeah.
is
Then let
entangled
them.
into a parent that
Mhm.
abandoned a child just more than just the child to grow up and don't worry about that other parent that is not there. A lot psychologically is attached. Unfortunately, a lot, in my own understanding, a lot is attached to when a father or a mother is not in the picture. Sometimes, most of the time, it has an impact and it leaves trauma. It leaves trauma in the life of that person. It might not be obvious trauma. It might not even be trauma that the person doesn't even know they have.
For
But
me, you know
it
where this
always
trauma is coming from. I understand you. I understand you.
Mhm.
Do you know where this trauma is coming from? It's from socialization, what the society tells you. Because once people are telling you that you're incomplete, you are a B, you understand, the BAS, T, what, you understand? Uh-huh.
BITC
Yeah.
the B
Once they
word.
tell you that you are a BAST, whatsoever, then it
Oh,
starts
that's
traumatizing you. Yeah, you understand, right? So,
Mhm.
for come on, because for me, we should give women their flowers. They are doing an amazing job out there. The role of men is so important. But if they don't want to play a role of a child slave, then let them be. Than to like run after them, even if they are of no use. You run after them, then you understand. Okay, like
Mhm.
because I understand. Going back to the trauma issue, I understand the trauma. For example, like this guy that I went to his shop, he wanted to start guilt trip me to go and look for him. Come on, you understand, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
After my mama don't do everything, make I take my leg. It's true. You
But
understand what
wait,
I'm saying? After she has
let me
done.
ask you the question. Do
Hi,
you know? I'm sorry, because it's your personal life. Sorry, Omoyo. Is it okay for us to keep having this conversation?
Oh yeah, please go
Okay.
ahead.
mm,
I'm mute
Alright.
because of that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I want to ask this question, Efusa.
yeah,
Because I don't know if you want to say this, but I'm gonna ask anyway. Did you have any
ask me.
chance to ask your mom or talk to your mom about what happened between her and your father that
O-
made him left? Did she ever give
Okay,
you the
okay.
info
There are
that
certain
information?
Yeah, okay. There are certain questions that children do not supposed to even ask. You understand, right?
Mm,
Waiting, what concerns the fight between a man and a woman?
okay.
If two of them fight, how does that concern me? Did I beg them to be here? I did not beg them to be here. They
Mm-hmm.
made me. You understand? So if they have their issues, and most likely these issues do not even concern the children. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? They will have their issues. Then the man will just go. Most of the time, the man abandons the child, and they always have this generic saying, "Eh, when they became big, you can't look for me now." Bam,
Mm-hmm. True, true,
they,
true, true.
they leave,
Mm-hmm.
which is so I don't want to use I don't want Omoye's channel to be flagged, which is like it's I mean it is a bizarre comment, and most fathers use it. I have one of my very good friends, right now, one of my very good friends, he just made this comment also to the baby
Mm-hmm.
mama. Let her take the child now. Let her take the child. When she's old enough, she'll come look for me. Come on, come
Mm.
on.
No,
So if
I
children,
understand what you're
yeah,
saying.
so if children, then when they say that, okay, when he or she is old enough, they'll come look for me, and it
Mm-hmm.
always happens. It always happens. Men, they will always take advantage of that because really deep inside of them, they know that they'll come look for them.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
yeah, so someone like me, I am of a different breed. I am of a different breed. No be me go come look for you. Never. My mama no born foolish pikin. So yeah, my mom no born foolish pikin, and my mom tells me every day that I know that I did not give birth to foolish children. And yeah, So you will not leave me, then you said I'll come look for you. Yeah, when the baby will come look for me, now then me said will carry my two left legs, you go look for you. No, I will not make that dream come true. Not be me go make that dream come true. Say when he big now you call look for me. No be me go make that dream come true. No.
You know,
So
I agree
yeah,
with you
so
because that's like
yeah,
the
so yeah,
common knowledge
yeah. So the fight between a man and a woman, there is no need to ask your mom and waiting happen because at the end of the day, the fight most of the time the fights between a man and a woman do not even concern the child. The man and the woman will just fight about their lovey relationship thing. The man will just abandon poop and go. And most of the time they abandon the child with the mom.
You know the reason why I asked this question. There's someone that I know, and this situation might be unique. When he was younger, they took him away from both the father. So they took him away from the mother, the family, the father's family. They took him away from the mother, and he had to stay with uncles, aunties, and he had a very terrible childhood. So when he grew older, he was so upset with his mom. Like, why did you abandon me? To him, because when he grew up, he eventually looked for his mom, and he found out that his mom she has a big shop in Lagos. She's doing well. She's flourishing. He was like, wow. So you are here. You are flourishing. Why me? I was left in the village, being tossed around from one auntie to another uncle. He was even abused as a child. He was abused, you know. So the mother had to explain the situation that she found herself. Like the family where he married, they are very tough family. So she had to leave him and run for her life. You see what I'm saying? So in that situation, the child will be like, oh, my mother just abandoned me, my father abandoned. And the thing is, when they collected him from his mom, the father later left him and went to go and remarry too. So basically, both parents abandoned him and they left.
Men always move on so quickly.
Exactly. So, but the mother too, she moved on too. She had other kids. Yeah, she had he was the first child.
Yeah, they are.
She had other kids too. So that's why I was asking, have you ever?
There are mothers like this, but this, if you see a woman that abandons the child, hey, goodness gracious, that woman is a special breed. I'm telling you.
But the situation was so intense because this family, the husband, the father family, they are very they are very, all these people that worship God. So even the grandfather, he was an herbalist. So the situation was so horrible for her. She had no choice than to leave him and run.
Yeah.
So she had no choice.
Unique.
So
this is the unique case,
and very different. Yeah.
There are unique cases like this. There are unique cases like this, but in a broad scenario, for me, women they could not stop today overemphasize the importance of a father if he doesn't want to be there.
Yes. This one that they are shaming single mother. The word that they are putting on single mother now. Oh my, please come in.
Don't
worry about what society
sees. The way they are shaming single mother now, I'm like,
Yeah, there's a lot of shame around being a single mother. Egosa, you know what? I agree with you. And I'm you know what? I have to thank you very much for stating everything that the way you stated it. It is very clear that you're actually in touch with your feminine side. That's very rare.
For a man.
That's very rare, right? To be in touch, because the truth is that this is the whole point. Again, like I said earlier, to each their own, right? I can't force my own idea on someone else, right? I can't impose it on anyone. The way I feel about it, and everything that you said, Ewosa, it's your experience. I cannot take it away from you. Do you understand? And I respect it. And the way you talk about your mother, it's not the first time I've heard you speak. I actually heard you when you told your story. It was very moving and it was emotional, and it speaks to the strength of being a woman sometimes, and how women have to carry a lot of this responsibility because maybe the fathers just choose not to be there, you know. So I appreciate you for that. But for me, my own personal and the way I see it, because I grew up different. You see what I mean? Like, I grew up with two parents, right? I had a father, a male figure, right? And I had a mother. I can't think about my life without my dad and my mom. You understand what I'm saying? Because my dad played a very key role in my life. The strength I have as a woman. Exactly. The strength I have as a woman, the confidence I have as a woman, the fact that I'm outspoken, it was my dad. Do you understand? He was a girl dad, like, you know, he loved his daughters. Now he loved his sons too, but the way he took care of us, we saw him scrub the ground. Go ahead, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Your case is like I admire your dad. You understand? He played a huge role in your life, and I really, really, really admire that. So let me ask you this: will you run after him if he decided, if he would have decided not to be in your life? Would you have run after him?
I was actually getting there in my as I was sharing. I was like, so that's what I was coming to. Like, I haven't said that, right? Knowing the kind of dad I had and everything. My dad was a very family-oriented man. His family came first, no cap. You could not get to his family without getting through him. I've literally seen my dad get down from his car. Then I want to wrestle, literally, publicly fight one downfall driver because he was being a nuisance on the road. Do you understand? We were going to school and we're running late and he didn't want us to be late. Now, I digress. Now, if my dad was the kind of person that didn't care that he had children, didn't partake in anything, right? Just didn't care at all. And then I only grew up and heard, oh, by the way, you have one father from one village like that too. It's time for you to know your father. I will not give a hoot who that father is, right? I wouldn't think about him because he wasn't there. He didn't play any role. So I wouldn't feel any.
Yeah, I like that.
Do you understand? I won't have any emotional attachment to him. So in that regard, go ahead.
And for me, I don't miss what I haven't experienced.
Exactly, because you never experienced it, so you will not value. It's not of no value to you because you never had it, right?
I haven't tasted it before, so how can I miss something that I haven't? You understand? So that's why it goes back to the trauma issue, where some people will be having trauma. Oh, where's my? I don't. Anyway, God bless them.
People are
different. Bless them.
Bless
them.
Bless them. People are different. For you,
for me,
you handled it well. It wasn't an issue. You have a great life, right? But there's so many people that will be affected by the fact that there was no father in the home or there was no mother. Like in the case of the story Bimpe just shared, there was no mother in the home. There are people that are affected by it somehow. We even still see it now, where people years later, right? They're still trying to figure out who's my father, who's my mother. That doesn't mean every child is going to look for their parents or care about them, depending on the experience they had. You know, there'll be those exceptions.
Yeah, there's this point I want to make, right? I did not just, however, I just want to emphasize on this. I did not grow up to have this mindset. Okay, let me confess to you. While growing up, at times I'll be feeling the societal pressure. You understand? Where I'll have my friends they'll have their fathers in their life and blah 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 blah. You understand? So I'll be kind of like asking myself questions, but my father. But you understand? Sometimes, but I will not ask my mom. You understand? But it will come in a minute and it will just disappear. You understand? So it took self-education to educate myself later on in life. It took self-education to educate myself around this issue of fatherhood. of absentee father versus single mom. You see, I just educated myself so much around it regarding the whole thing. Then,
Right.
so that's why I arrived where I am today. That's why I'm speaking the way I'm speaking today. It was kind of like self-awareness, self-education about absentee fathers, single moms, and all these things. You see. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it is
I
not.
mean
Yeah, so yeah,
that
so I did
that's
not. I wasn't born with it. I just kind of like educated myself later on in life, and
right.
I'm living. I'm one of those people who will leave this world, who will leave this planet without caring about his other parent. I'm one of those
Right.
people. Unluckily, my brother also, he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. We are just like, yeah, we're just like
Right.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, hey, to each their own, and I
yeah.
definitely respect your
And Omoye,
experience,
if I
honestly.
tell you something, there's something that I will not mention here. If I tell you something privately, you will
Hmm.
shout about me.
Wow.
So that's, yeah. You will
Right.
scream. So that's why you'll be like, and my case is not even it's not even unique. You understand?
Mm.
My case is
Right.
not even unique. Yeah, I will type it to you right now.
Okay.
So you
So let
see.
me
Yeah.
quickly come to Tunaija. Hey, your fans are screaming in the comment section. Marioto, see oh, Tunaija is here. Oh, Mirabe has gone to sleep. That one don't go sleep.
Hmm. Are you
Tunaija,
sure?
welcome.
Greetings. Are you sure they're my fans?
You see, they've been screaming. Every time Marriott and Mirabel, they'll be saying, where is Tunaija? They will say something and then they will say, where is Tunaija? I say, now, wow. Tunaija has ears everywhere. If you hear on a come now, I beg, I don't want Tunaija. Tunaija will come scatter this place.
Tunaja, how
Welcome.
far?
Are they? Greetings, everybody in chat and the viewers too.
Long
Um,
time, Tunaja.
yeah, I've been around. I've been around. I've been around. Yeah, but it's this single parenting is a serious one, isn't it? I okay, fine. You don't want to stigmatize people that are single parents just because they are single parents because you don't know the circumstances that led to it, do you? So that is fine. But from it's not necessarily a positive thing because single parents household is clear from the data that children from that don't do very well. Not that they don't do very well, they don't do as well as the one from two parent homes. So the data is clear on that, and it's not something to encourage. We can't encourage single parent homes because of that. That's one. And then for societal, for what they call generational wealth and consolidation of wealth is also better when two people are working together. It's more efficient. That's why societies come together. When two people come together to work, it's more efficient than when one person is carrying all the load. So on so many fronts, you can see why one wants to discourage that, and especially our forefathers. You can understand why, because the societies that encouraged it, they didn't make it. They didn't make it. They tend to end up weaker before it.
But what
While the
about men that don't want to be in their children's lives? The men who actively walk away from their children. I mean, shouldn't we be holding them accountable for that? Because you have a lot of single mothers now. Na person give them the belle. We're not talking about the ones that have gone to scientifically whatever, but the majority of them, the dad chose to walk away.
Yeah, majority, that's a big term. I don't know whether you are referring to Nigeria, but if you are looking at the West, is the opposite. But in Nigeria, maybe that's the case. The men walk away, and that's irresponsible of any man to do, really, because you can't just have a child and leave it for who to take care of. So that's extremely irresponsible. And societally, I will subscribe to men. I've said it before. Men have to start having a culture of discouraging this, um, uh, you know, kind of corrosive behavior. Like from domestic violence to walking away, having baby mothers, as they like to call it. It's just stupid idea because they think it's cool, and the rappers and all this culture they think is a new trend. I don't think it's something that should be encouraged. And I noticed that about 5 years ago, it was becoming a thing in Nigeria. I was hearing a lot about that. I think it's died down now. Where they say that men are just having children everywhere, with different women. You can say that, and the thing in Nigeria though that is a little bit different is that when they have these children, some of them anyway, they take care of the different families in different locations. The one you are referring to are the ones they walk away and they don't care for the children at all, and that one is even worse.
Exactly. So they have Marriott has a question for you. What if if they can't find a partner, uncle? What if they can't?
The single parents, if they cannot find a partner, like I said, you don't kind of stigmatize people just because they can't find a partner. That is fine, but societally, we want to discourage it. It's not something we want to encourage. And I understand that there are people that are still going to fall on the edge, but if you start governing communities based on the needs of a tiny minority, you're going to have a serious problem, because the majority will rip itself to pieces for that purpose, or destroy whatever system is that created that system in the first place. So you have to always go on for the majority. And we all know this from history. If the so-called stigmatization, the way they discouraged single parenthood was bad, that system would be the one that would have been in charge. The system doesn't succeed. That's why you have systems where some people say, oh, the women are allowed to marry multiple husbands. Yeah, how many villages use that? Because the other ones is eating all of them up. Because the ones that will outcompete them is the one that do the opposite. The nature is basically telling you what.
So works. It's okay. Wait. To Najana, here we take the quarrel. So it's okay for the man to have multiple, because here you are again, you have dragged in the polygamy. I think you'll get 50 wives, no problem. So it's okay for the men to marry multiple children that they do not even care for. Here's where we are. They don't care for. Remember, these children that these men have had over the years that they did not have time to even bring up or to even imbibe some values in them are the cause of the problems we have in the society today. So it's okay for the man to marry multiple men, but it's not okay for the women. You cannot say that, and it can't happen anymore. You know that, right? There's nothing you can do, because why? Some men have failed immensely, in this whole dynamic that we have. Personally, I was in another life earlier, and I said, I cannot marry a man that cannot lead. Meaning someone that you can listen to and you say, okay, he's going somewhere, he has a vision. There's something he wants to do that you can tie yourself to, right? So imagine a man having multiple women in this time and in this era where people are trying to make sure that they are having healthy and functional human beings. You have to understand that the problems that people with multiple wives, with children they could not care for, some of them did not even know the names of their children complete till they left this earth. They are the ones creating havoc into this society.
Okay, I agree. Men that are not caring for their children is a terrible this thing for them to be doing, and besides, they're also creating single moms that we are saying we should discourage. That is it. You have to hold the men accountable. The men, they can't get away with that. You can't just having children, because children is one of the most fundamental things you do in life. You can't have them and just leave it for some other person to raise. And to add to this, I will also say the state should even take it further if they will get involved and encourage men to take care of their children. In other words, if they do a good job of raising their children well, they also get some kind of reward when they grow older too. The state can also assist in taking care of them. I think that is some of the more advanced way of looking at this, in that they are even looking to in the West to encourage people to have and raise their children properly. Because if you raise your children well, you should be rewarded by the state for it. And if you are doing a terrible job, the state should frown on you for it. And the culture should also frown on it. I think the culture we used to have before now has a lot of good things to it, and we just need to rejig it for the modern era. And I think somewhere along the line, the men are getting away with some of their irresponsibility. some of the things that they are doing and they're getting away with it. They shouldn't do that. I've heard of cases even in Haiti where the men will just sit around drinking while the women are just doing all the work. No, that is not manly. That's not manhood. That's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to actually, you can understand why this is got corrupted somehow, but we can correct it. There's no reason we can't correct it as men. We hold our fellow men accountable, and that's one thing we don't see enough of, actually. I've been around. My friends are doing some weird stuff that they're not supposed to be doing, some funky stuff they're doing. I tell you, this thing you're doing, it doesn't look right. Consequences. You have to always evaluate these things. And men should be doing the same thing, telling their friends, this type of stuff you are doing is not right. And in more severe cases, they really need to have penalties for their men, and they need to be treating them just like you treat any other man that does. There are so many things men do today that like when a man comes and lies about something that every other guy knows that that's false. Most men don't respect that guy anymore, and that kind of stuff is what men should be doing. If they find a man that is utilizing his wife and his children, men should call them out. If they find a man that just keeps having children and not taking care of it, men should be the first to discourage it, because men like the approval of fellow men. They want the approval of their fellow men. If fellow men don't approve it, you're going to find that behavior is going to die down significantly. And I think that's something that we can use, at least as if it comes to the men are walking away, to reduce that kind of behavior and reduce single parenthood. However,
thank you for saying that. Thank you for at least you acknowledge that the men should be held responsible, because a lot of it is not being spoken about highly enough. You have all these podcasters in different corners. They are really literally derailing the men. They'll be telling you very wrong things. Some of them have had terrible relationships in their lives, bring it online, and they're literally coaching these young and some mature men that maybe have made mess of their lives. And then all these people will be all over trying to, we cannot have a society like that. You want your women to be good to you, to be kind to you, then you must learn how to lead. You must have a vision. You must know when to do what you need to do. I mean, when did that become difficult? You know what I mean? Like you find this happening more and more and more. It is wrong on all levels. What do you want the women to do? Fold their hand and be looking? No, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
And then some men will be saying, "Oh, these women are too masculine. They are too masculine." Hello, what choice have you left them with? You have children, you walk away. Who's going to feed those children? Who's going to clothe them? Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to make sure that they're all right? When they're sick, who takes them to the hospital? Who has to get the insurance? Why will their male energy not kick in when you're not stepping up?
So I like the fact that too, Niger, when you started talking, I was like, I was trying to see where you kind of land your point before I come in. I like the fact that you balance the conversation, because what I've always been seeing is there are so many single mothers. There are so many single mothers. There are so many single. I'm like, I understand it's not something that, for a society, we want to have two parents, which is the father and the mother that is raising the children together. But unfortunately, that's not even the reality. I grew up in a two-parent home as well, but I can tell you, even though I grew up in a two-parent home, my mom did most of the raising, and she has 6 kids. My dad was there. He was there every day, but my mom was the one that raised us, even though I grew up with my father. So this issue of, kids being raised by one parent is not something that is just happening now. Maybe because we have social media, there's so many things that is in our faces. This thing has been happening since time immemorial. And I think now it has really gotten worse. But when I'm having issues is the so much attack on the other parent that decided to pick up the slack of the other parent that abandoned the children. That's where I'm having problem. It's like there's an attack against, and I'm not trying to say all single mothers are, they some of them, they have horrible behaviors. Something happened between maybe them and their husband or something. Anything could have happened that made them to become single parent. But it's just this constant attack against the parent that stayed and raised these children. Because at the end of the day, you both brought children, whether it's a single father or single mother. But there's so much emphasis against single mothers. And I'm always thinking back to myself, for every single mother, remove the people that do IVF or whether you adopt, for every single mother, there's a single father. So what about the single father? Why are you guys not talking about the single father? And like Omoye said, it's so unfortunate. The people that are even supposed to be, raising the next generation of men, they are even doing more horrible job, because it's like the way they are setting them up is against women. So it has now become like a battle. It's now becoming like a war between man and woman. And God help you, you're a single mother. Once you hear that single mother is like, that stigma is on you like this. They will not even think, okay, what about the father of these children? This woman, she's doing a lot to make sure that these children have food on their table, have clothes on their back, have where to stay, all by herself. That's where I'm having issues. Like, why is there constant attack against the parent that stay, or against the parent that is picking up the slack of the other parent that is not in the picture?
I think the reason why is because it depends on where they believe that is triggering the separations. In the West, most of the women in the divorces are being triggered by the women. We are talking about 70-80% of divorces triggered by the women. So you start seeing a situation whereby you say, why are they so keen on becoming single parents in the West? But in the case of Nigeria, that's why you have to kind of differentiate. In the case of Nigeria, I don't think that is the case. It's often men that are causing most of the problem and often walking out of the house if it comes to that. So in the case of Nigeria, you hold the men accountable, and in the case of the US, you hold the women accountable too, because they are the ones triggering the breakups most of the time. And not necessarily, and you can see that most of the men are arguing that because there's an incentive to do that, financial incentive to do that. And so that's why, even today, I saw some discussion that was happening and it degenerated into just attacking women. And I didn't want to go there and start giving them a tongue lashing again, the men anyway. So I just decided to stay out of it. You tend to see this over and over again. You see the men coming around talking about how the women are doing them down, child care and all that stuff. They're taking money from them. You get that, and I think this is just a symptom of the fact that the women are triggering more of the divorces, and it looks like the men are powerless. And when they trigger the divorces, they still get to pay for the divorce, because after divorce, then they still have to be paying to the woman, whether the woman is married or not, to a new husband, spouse. It doesn't matter. They still have to be paying for their child while they didn't ask to leave that home. You see how destructive that is, and that same culture is filtering to the continent now.
But too, Niger, when we are talking about divorce, people divorce for different reasons. A woman that triggered divorce, I'm not saying every divorce is there is an issue, because some women, because I'm not trying to say every woman is perfect, but from what I know, this is me, a good Nigerian woman that I know will not just trigger divorce. If you sit that Nigerian woman down, and I'm not being sentimental because I'm a woman, I know this is not where the conversation is going, but it has gone there. A good Nigerian woman that I know, before she would trigger a divorce or go and file for a divorce, please, my brother, call that woman down, ask her what has she been through in that marriage. I can only speak for my own Nigerian women. I don't know about other Nigerian women, other African nation or African American. I cannot speak for them. But the Nigerian woman that I know, and I have a lot of Nigerian women around me, and unfortunately for me, most of them are married and they're still married. I don't even know all these ones that are getting divorced. I don't know them. But from the ones that I've heard, that I've known, before they decide to say, okay, I want to go and get a divorce, something pushed them to that level, my brother. If you ask them, if you call them and ask them, when they tell you what they've been through, before they say, okay, I've had enough. And when you are divorcing, they have to bring everything to the table, including the children. And because most times the mothers are the primary caregiver of children, and they will be the one that the children will stay with. So the courts have to consider how these children will be fed, which we don't have that system in Nigeria. Most times when when a woman or a marriage do not work, the woman will be the one that will stay with the children, and she'll probably be raising that child by herself, even financially. It's what we grew up to see. It's not like we need anybody to give us statistics about that. But this country is different. I think the problem is most of our men or African men, they find it difficult to adapt to the system of this country, because when there's a divorce, it's the children that the court will be looking at. What is the best interest of the children? Who will be the best parent that will nurture this child? But they will see that, oh, it's women that is, collecting their husband's money, collecting the house, pursuing their husband out. But what even happened? My own problem is, my own situation is, let's go to the root cause of all these divorces. Because I hear a lot of people talking about our women are getting divorced, they are getting divorced, they are getting divorced. What is the root cause of them getting divorced? Because before you can go to a court to file for divorce, something happened. Let's go to the root cause. What is the problem?
I think the roots is that when
it's not only
women
just about money. I don't think it's only about
let me tell you now. I think what I find, for me, my mouth was wide open when I saw the statistics showing 70-80% of women are triggering divorce. I never saw that one coming. I thought it was still the men. What I found was that women at a certain stage, when it gets in threshold, they feel like they don't need the men to necessarily take care of this thing. They become like, they take advantage of the situation. They feel like, why do I? It's like a man is like a child suddenly to them, because they feel like they have for this guy, cook for this guy, and all the rest of it. So why should they have to bother with that? So their irritation grows faster, and then they want to get rid of the guys from the relationship. Often it's not necessarily because of domestic violence or anything. It's just because of one reason or the other. They will just get rid of the guys, and then they will just start dating and doing whatever they like and raising the children all by themselves. And in some cases, even getting money.
Okay, so to Naija, let me tell you something. Okay, now those people that you're listening to, right? Sometimes you have to, like Bimpe said, especially for Nigerian women, even for American women, I can speak for them because I know quite a number of them, and I see most of them really want to be in their marriages. They try everything for it to work. What happens in the case of Nigerian women? Nigerians don't, I've said it before, Nigerians don't marry correctly. Most Nigerians don't.
Yeah.
When they want to marry, first of all, some of these men, they go down sleep with all the people when they America, or if now Europe they will now go home and want and bring somebody fresh. That person does not understand the system, doesn't know how it works, and everything. Why? They issue the element of control. They'll bring her, right? And then they will want her to act the same way that they brought her. If she was pounding yam for them while they were in Nigeria, they expect that same treatment in America. They expect her to come back from work on time and cook fresh meals. You and I know the Western world, how it works. If you're working, or even if you're a stay-at-home mom and you have children, it's not that easy. Because by the time you take care of children, you're exhausted sometimes. You might not be able to do as much as you thought you would be able to do. What happens is these men start feeling, when they feel that the woman, maybe she has the opportunity to go back to school, or maybe she's now making some money. They're not used to that because they've been used to being the one in control, taking care of everything. Now, suddenly, this woman is making money and she probably doesn't depend on him as much anymore. They feel like they're losing control. Now, the woman doesn't have time to be making fresh meals anymore, or waking up and preparing his water to bath like they do in Nigeria anymore. Now, he starts to feel like he's being neglected. Then he now looks for ways to frustrate the woman inside the house, starts to nag at her and say, oh, since you've been here, I can't talk to you anymore. I can't do this anymore. You don't do this anymore. You don't do that anymore. Complain. Woman, now human being. Now blood, they flow for in vain. Some of them, because they can't control, and I'm not saying it's all men, no, women get for their hand too, and I'm going to come to that. Now, when they don't frustrate, do what they want to do, some of them will start to become verbally abusive. From there, it go turn to physical abuse. Now, because here, people listen to you when you have a problem. If you are trying to, you put yourself in a position that I feel threatened, I get where I feel wrong, go, they go give me help. In Nigeria, you do not have that. When that now happens, and then maybe they now come. I give you a quick story. I was listening to this lady on TikTok yesterday. They were having like a live. They were all in Europe, by the way. This particular woman started to narrate her story, or how she was the one who even went to Nigeria to marry, brought this man. She was working in Italy. The man was doing all kinds of things. She kept forgiving him. Then eventually, he now calmed down. One time, the son, the little child they had a bad, terrible fall. And the man was supposed to be at home with the boy. The man did not pay attention to the boy. He took the mother while she was bathing the child to notice there was that the face on the side was swollen. So she was not asking what happened. The man said nothing. The man did not talk to her. Matter of fact, he goes, okay, give me money to take this child to the hospital. The man said, no, I'm not giving you money. Maybe you have your own money. It's 50-50. Meanwhile, while he came from Nigeria, she was working her butt off to ensure that everything was cool in the house. So she went to bed because she wasn't sure. She just applied normal rub or whatever. The next day, the pikin eye don't close, ear don't swear, inside of the face don't like triple. She screamed, went to meet the man. I need money. I don't have it. You spent all my money. I don't have any money. The man said no. She had to call 911. They now came, they checked the child. They now said, what happened? Of course, all these people, they don't joke around. What happened to your child? They noted maybe abuse. They invited both of them. Long story short, after the horrible things that this woman was sharing, that this man put her through to the point where she eventually lost her dad. The man refused for her to go. There was money that they gave to her. The man was looking for ways to collect it. She had 2 children for this man. Please tell me, she's a human being. What do you want her to do? Stay there and just kukuma delete until say she's married? Because when we're talking about these things, we need to put it in perspective.
That's one of many stories.
Now, that's one of many. There are women. I personally have a friend here in America. Waiting the man take her eyes, see, she not even want to come out. Now we can go say, I beg. We don't want to bury you. I beg. We don't want. Please, for the sake of your children. Nigerian women, 99.9% do not want to leave their homes. Because the culture encourages women to stay married. When the men marry,
but the thing is, who even like to get who want to get married today to divorce tomorrow? Nobody gets married with the intention of divorcing.
Most Nigerian women, their own is is do or die for them, right? Now, these women go stay inside the man go do them anyhow. They go stay. If this woman start to tell you the horrible things they have to put up with, oh my goodness, you will begin to wonder who created these men? Where did they come from? Do you understand? Now, the women have their own. There are women who do have terrible attitudes, who, of course, they have, ulterior motives. They pretend, they want to come to America. They get married to this man because of America or Europe. Then they come and start showing themselves. There's that.
Can I say something?
Get it.
Can I say more quickly?
Go ahead.
So Naja, how far?
Go ahead, please. You can respond.
Naja, me and you again for here, Abi. Okay. Now this is okay. Now I will try to explain it. There are a lot of things in my head. Okay. The issue is, right, we shouldn't ignore the fact that we are in 2023. I'll repeat. We shouldn't ignore the fact that we are in 2023. So, if a man of 2023 wants to do marriage as if he is still living in 1960, that marriage will never work.
Thank you.
Why?
Please, louder.
Why? Because times have changed. So we should move on with time. So if a man of 2023 wants to one day how they do marriage as if like his grandfather of 1950, 1960, that marriage will end in a divorce. Why? Because women, the mentality of women has evolved for the better. Okay, back then, let me just stay in 1960, but you all of you understand what I'm trying to say. Back then in 1960, women were not going to school. Women were not educated as much as they are educated today. Back then, women were not going to school. Women were not enlightened. Back then, women were strictly groomed to be wives, to be stay-at-home mom in 1960. Coming down now to 2023 now, it's changed. We have presidents. We have women who are presidents of countries. This is where we are now. What does that tell you? That women are enlightened. They know their rights. Women will not take abuse. So simply put, back then in 1960, they told women that no matter what, the only thing you have is marriage. The only thing a woman had a woman of 1960, a woman in Niger in 1960, the only thing she had as an achievement was marriage. But coming down to 2023, she has a lot. Marriage doesn't define her. She has a lot. Now, marriage is number 2, 3, 4 on her list. But in 1960, marriage was number 1. But now she has education, she has a career, she will have her children, she will have loyal friends, she will have a colleague because now she's working, she have her networks and all those things. So you cannot imagine a woman of 2023 who will sit down at home and take a lot of excessive BS from a man. But going back to 1960, she'll be there and take everything because that's the only thing she had. But in 2023, she will not. So simply put, the divorce rate of 2023 is so high because they know what they want, and they'll be like, okay, now this is not what I want, so I'm stepping out. I cannot take the excess of this man, so I'm stepping out. So, but back in 1960, the man, we have a lot of rogue men. A man of 1960, we have a lot of rogue men. They will do anyhow for a woman, knowing that that woman will not go anywhere. Knowing that she will stay, they will do anyhow. Some men will even bring their concubines out. Some men will even bring their concubines at home. They will know that the wife. They will know that they will know that the wife will not do anything. This is 1960. They will know that the wife will not do anything. You understand? But in 2023, I mean, she's educated, she's enlightened. I mean, we have internet, there's TV, there's radio, she's listening to news, she knows. I mean, you understand? She's so enlightened. You see, so she will not. So this is the difference. So if a man of 2023 has the same mentality to treat a woman anyhow a woman of 2023 anyhow, the woman will trigger divorce. It's that easy. So divorce is that cheap for a 2023 woman. It is that cheap because she knows what she wants. She cannot stand abuse. Even if there is no abuse, even if they grow apart, the woman will still leave and be, oh, okay, now we are not on the same street together. I'm moving on. It is that easy. Omoye, sister said, Bimpe, I don't know whether you saw that video of last week. The video that was circulating last week of the lawyer in America, the female lawyer in America, the barrister, who was saying that she doesn't advise anybody to get married in their 20s because they don't even know who they are.
Yeah,
that most people that most people who marry in their 20s later on get divorced because in their 20s you don't even figure out yourself about who you are, about what you want to be. And I support that. It makes sense, and it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
I agree. And you know the thing is, the woman of 2023, even before she will file for divorce, it takes a while. before she even filed
No,
for that divorce.
no, divorce
You
is not
understand
an
what I'm saying?
event. Yeah. Divorce is not an event.
Something happened
Divorce
that
is a
led to it. Yeah.
divorce is not it's not an event. Divorce is a process. Most of the time, before somebody wants to file a divorce on the 31st of January 2023, the divorce had occurred maybe 6 months or 1 year before even. You understand? So that
Okay.
file,
Can I
so
say
that
now?
filing in of divorce and signing the papers is just so that filing in of
Can
the
I
paper
just
and
say
signing it
something?
and signing
Can I
is just formality. That's just
can I
formality
just
because
say
they don't start
something,
at 8:86.
Mister? Come on, man. You
Go
talking?
on to
All
Niger.
these
Go
your
on.
metrosexual ideas, it's not going to do you any favors, See, let me tell you. You see, you really need to snap out of it. Some of the things you are saying, you're not hearing yourself. You think this is enlightenment of divorces and abortions and all the rest. What do you call enlightenment?
To
You have
Niger.
to see.
To
Hold
Niger.
on. Let me say
So
my
wait.
piece.
Before you continue, I beg. You just a drum bomb. Just dey spoil my video. Right now, this video is going to be demonetized because of you.
What
All
did I
the words
say?
when you don't use. You
Those
use
words
the
are.
AB word. AB.
Oh, I see.
They don't. I tell you, YouTube doesn't like it. So
Mm.
once you just drop that word, they're very sensitive. I will get email very soon now after this video. Watch.
I see. Okay. So yeah, with all to call something enlightenment, you have to understand what the end is meant to achieve. Because if you say we are now living for our own individual feelings, because we feel frustrated, we don't see the greater picture, we don't see the bigger picture, then you are missing the point. Because in reality, when you are creating single parent home, because according to you, parents and women are not enlightened, what
That's
you're going
not
to
what
have
he
is
said.
a anxiety.
Niger, that's not what he said. Don't take it out of context. That's not what he said. You
That's
did
what
you
he
listen to
said.
him? You only
They're not
wanted
going
to
to
hear what
tolerate it. He
you.
said they're not going to
No, no,
tolerate
no,
it
no, no,
because they
no.
are not
No, to
enlightened.
Niger, you are taking it
Okay.
out of context. That's not what he
You are
said.
Okay,
taking me
I'll give
out
him
of
chance to correct
That's
you are
not
himself.
what
taking
he
me out
said.
of
What
context.
Correct
he's
me now.
saying
Correct
is
Totally.
me.
that
Totally out
what
of context.
exactly what
Correct me
he's
then.
saying is that
I will
women.
listen if you want to correct
Wait
me.
now, to Niger, it's not about correction. You're saying it, but you're taking his words out of context. I have to come in and say no to Niger. That's not what he said. What he's trying to clarify is let you know further reasons why women can no longer put up with this level of abuse. You are talking about, okay, let's look at we are not looking at the whole picture. Are you saying that women should continue to live in depression, even regardless, just because you have a goal that you want them to achieve? Because when you're talking about these things and you're talking about population and talking about expanding and all of that, you don't even consider the well-being of the parties involved. That's what's missing in your conversation. Do you understand? If you have an idea of, okay, I want us as a people to be stronger, to be this, to be that, you need to, based on your knowledge right now, because you yourself cannot even live in the 1400s. Forget that we are using it to laugh at you. You can't. You have to think about the now. What is happening right now? Because prior, they didn't have computers. But not be computer, you think they talk to me right now. Why you not use palm tree flag for broom as they do, as some people they do? Do you understand? So let's put it in context. If we're saying, okay, we want a society that's like this, put in context people's mental state, how men should treat women. It's very important because the abuse, unfortunately, is coming mostly from the men. So that
Now,
needs to be addressed.
that's interesting. If the abuse is coming from the men, then like you said it yourself when you were describing some of the things you were describing, you were describing it like because of the actions of the men, that's what led to the family separating. But what you didn't realize was that coupled with the system that they walked into when they come into the West is what
That's
decoupled
not
the family. It's part
true.
of what decoupled the
It's not
family.
the system.
Can
No,
I
it's not
finish?
the
You don't.
system.
You
No,
don't
no,
let
no,
me
no. I have
point.
to correct you. It's not. I will allow you finish, but I have to correct you, to Niger. It's not the system. It's a lack of the fact that the men refuse to. When you find yourself in a new environment, what's the word? English just escaped my head. I beg. Which
Yeah,
language I want to speak now? To adapt. That is is not the system. I have people that are thriving in this system. So what is the excuse? There are people that are thriving in this system. Is the inability of the person that is coming to change and understand that this is a new environment. There are ways things are done. There's nothing so difficult about that. But when you bring someone and you want to insist upon a 15th century way of living in a 2023 way, it doesn't work. If you don't bend, you're gonna break.
I see. I get what you mean, but I'm still describing the fact that the system is partly because now the woman is working, like you said, and all these other things. What happened was that the environment that they operated changed, and then you have stresses that start showing up. The men start reacting, like you said, they didn't adapt very well to it. So it's a sliding scale. Sometimes the men that fail, and it's the women, and it's a combination of both. The system is failing, and they are not enough about it. This is one of the reasons why you say I don't talk about solutions. I always talk about solutions. This is one of the reasons why I keep saying all this jackpot syndrome, Nigerians going overseas, they don't realize what they are going there to do, and there is no systems in place to protect them from the changes that are going to happen in their lives. And nothing is that the only thing that often affects them is when this stuff steps in, and then often they are not even there to help. They just separate the family and leave them, let them just go on their merry way. Everybody flies apart, and that is it. But I think that when our people are going over there, there needs to be some sensitization of what they should expect when people get over there, because there's this impression now that goes that, oh, the moment you go to Nigeria, get married to a wife, the moment she drops her bag, she's fighting for a divorce, because there is a pattern that seems to be showing up. So if people are beginning to get that kind of idea, it tells you that something is happening. The culture in the West is beginning to filter back to the continent now, and there are ramifications for this. And I said it before, we need to know ourselves and our place. And our place right now is not to be copying what they are doing in the West. It was designed for them, not for us. It wasn't even designed for the Black American. It was designed for the white. It's designed for the dominant culture. And sometimes we subscribe to these systems, not realizing that it's going to do us damage. This is why in the Black American community, they are committing more of the A's than the Europeans. Because the Europeans adapt, they don't need to that point where they need to do A's as much as this Black communities. So you see.
Okay, so what system have you put in place for your Black men? That's the question I have to ask you.
Like that's what I'm saying. I'm advocating that they should start doing that, and I see so many of our Nigerians advocating for Nigerians to travel overseas, but they don't advise them on. They don't have them put in place. They are making money from YouTube and everything. Put systems in place to say, okay, this is kind of advice you get when you start having this sort of problem. Call us, as a number, so that we understand you and we understand the system here. We can advise you all and connect you with people that have had similar problems, how they can adapt. It's helping them. There are a lot of Nigerians going through a lot of stress silently. I've said it before. When you go to the court systems, you will see we are overrepresented. Not only Nigerians, Africans that are flying over there without realizing that the culture is very, very different, or at least not fully aware of the impact it's going to have on their relationship. So these are things we can put in place to start reducing this problem. The women should not overreact. Men should not react that badly to the changes that they see in their women.
Okay, so Tunaija, Marriott has a message for you. Tunaija is a 1960 man looking for a 1400 woman who uses mud pots to keep water cold and send to him on her stomach.
What is wrong with this? All these trolling statements. I'm actually called out. How many men call the men out? I call the men out when they are doing stuff wrong.
I give you credit for that, for calling the men. I really do give you credit for that. It's just that you're still. I get what you're trying to do to Nigeria, but the problem is that we don't have a viable society yet for that to even thrive. And you're right. Well, these people are jackpowing. Who is telling them the truth about the mental aspect of the issues? Who's telling them about the challenges they're going to face? Because most of them, when they get here, that's when divorce happens. Because they don't have that same support system they had back home. They don't have it here. So it overwhelms them. and then they act out on each other, you know. So I have to give you kudos for that. That's a fact. Let me come to Ephrata, my sister Ephrata. Ephrata, welcome. Good to have you here.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Well, thank you for having me. Well, I think this topic, I'm a little bit conflicted because, I have my personal opinion, and at the same time, I want to be very respectful and try and understand where other people are coming from when I express myself, so that I don't come across as, I feel like, first and foremost, I think when it comes to the topic, addressing the topic, I think it's about everybody living in their truth.
Fact. Yeah.
I think so. But the problem is a lot of us don't know what our truth is. We think we do.
Right.
Yeah, I think so. A lot of people are conflicted. They're not sure. But then I also respect the fact that I believe in destiny. I believe in destiny. I believe that everybody's destiny is different. Everybody's path is different.
Right.
And I feel like originally nobody wants to, of their own choice, raise children alone. I mean, I wouldn't say 100%. Maybe 1%, 2% would be like, the marriage thing is not for me. So those kind of people are different from people who have had a rough in relationships. Their hearts have been broken, been with the wrong kind of people. And so when, after having been hurt, they've decided, what do you want me to do? I'm going to have kids anyway, And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So that's why I said I'm a little conflicted, because I don't want to come across as, But I feel like at the same time, we make wrong choices. And these wrong choices lead us to certain situations like that, where we find ourselves, in compromising situations. And at the end of the day, it's a vicious world out there. I don't care whether you're talking about the men who inflicted, pain and hurt on women, and then the children that find themselves in, such situations. It's I don't know, because everybody's story is different. And if you really want to find out the root cause of, what those issues are, you find out there are a lot of complexities, But the truth of the matter is this: the world has changed. We are no longer in the 1400s. Like, I'm talking about two Nigeria's time.
Exactly. No, we're no longer there. Two Nigeria is stuck in 1400.
Exactly, 1400. But sorry, I didn't mean to take a jab at you. I'm just playing around.
No,
So,
he's good. He's good.
Yeah.
Two Nigeria is good.
Yeah. So I just feel like I feel like as you see life, they come like that. That kind of mindset. Now I get to.
Right. Now some me said they see him too.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you.
Yeah, as you said, because what works for A, B, no go work for C, D, and vice versa. But at the end of the day, everybody wants to be loved, to be respected, to be valued. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then if you end up with the wrong person, or somebody deceives you, manipulates you, and you find yourself in a compromising situation where, it's between you a rock and a hard place, then life will go on. You do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But if I may say something though, and I don't mean to call him out, the speaker before the other speaker. I don't want to mention Egosa, yeah. I listen to him very well, and I don't know him, but I can tell that there are a lot of unsaid stuff that's going on, and I just I just feel like, as long as he feels like this is what he really wants, the choice he's making, and that 10 years from now he's not going to wish that he did something else. You know what I'm saying? because personally, I grew up with my stepfather, but I got to a point where I felt like I wanted to know my dad, to know where I come from. Thank God my father also wanted me. So I went over to spend time with him, to learn his language and know the other part of my family. And I think that if I didn't do that, or if I didn't have a chance or opportunity to do that, I would not be complete. But that's me. That's me.
Right. No,
Yeah.
you just said it. Like you said, right? Everybody has, it's an
Yeah.
individual thing. For
Yeah.
Egosa is actually a very complete person. He's someone I know, from another platform, and I've heard his story in details as well. He was very generous enough to share the story with us. He has a very, very unique perspective on life,
On it.
and and he's a complete wholesome person. So even though he's talking about it, I'll tell you for free, man, that's just a wusa. He doesn't, there's no underlining, because there were a lot of deep, seated things that had happened that he doesn't even. So I get him. I don't even, and there are people like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a very traditional person in my mind. That's the things that, of course, I have moved with the times, but there's certain values that I hold dear. For instance, I am that person that believes that, I need to know who the father of my child is. That's just me, right? But there are other people who those things don't bother them. It's okay if they don't know. And I happen to have friends who didn't have any father in their lives, and they've been able to move through life unhinged, moved on, and are great citizens of the world, So I don't know. It's a very complex situation. I don't think we can ever get the answer.
No, there's no right or wrong here.
Exactly.
There's no right or wrong. So now, talking about, relationships, polygamy, and just like going off topic a bit, I'm not sure say this monogamy thing they work. Seems like it's not. I'm not sure.
Okay, wait, make it up so.
Yeah, I don't look the profile of people when claim that that's what they want, but one of them will step out, mostly the men. So I'm beginning to so fine. I mean, I come from a polygamous family, you understand, and I know that men always they wonder, nothing when you feel do they wonder, but I always used to think that I had the, what's it called, sassy me, anybody there with me, he's, the person go stay in line and stuff, but it didn't. No, you know what I'm saying. So you look at someone like Princess Diana and the beauty she had, you understand, and everything, but Charles never really loved her. He was all about Camilla. Unfortunately, she passed, and he went on to be with his real love. And so that's a typical picture of what is really going on. And to answer the question the men are asking these days, saying what's wrong with women? Why are women no longer putting up with their crap? Why are women making decisions, that is anti-family and all? It's because these women of this generation grew up watching their mothers in pain and suffering.
Yes.
And something happened to the core of these women where they said, I'm not going to put up with this. Mom, if I were you, I would leave. I would not put up with this. And see the lives that their mothers lived, they know there was some kind of trauma happened to women. It's making them now be less tolerant.
Yes. And again, sorry, go ahead.
I think that's the root cause of the matter, because everybody's wondering what's going on, what's happening, why.
No, you're right. It's really a major part of it, because a lot of people grew up in abusive homes that was normalized, right? And they grew up saying, no, this is not gonna happen to me, right? So just to piggy off on your perspective on polygamy and whatever, and the example you gave with Diana and her whatever,
Yeah.
Now, in that case, it was a case of the man did not love who they imposed on him, which was
Yeah.
Diana.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a polygamous issue for him. It was more like a preference. Like his heart was somewhere else, his body with somebody else, because they imposed that person on him. You
Yeah.
know?
No.
Now, and then for maybe because you know, like you said, you grew up in a polygamous home, so your take and your perception about it will be different, right? That
Well, no,
Mhm.
don't misunderstand me. Now,
Okay.
I'm not saying that personally I support polygamy. What I'm saying to you is that I don't think monogamy. I'm not. I don't think it's something that really works. It's
No, I
It's
think
not.
I
It's
think
clearly not
it's
natural.
something
It's
that
not
works.
natural.
No,
It's
no, no,
not.
no, no,
It's not.
no. Please,
works.
please, let me
It
interject
doesn't.
that.
No.
It works.
It
Okay,
works.
hold on.
Monogamy works. Please, let's
The
not
people that
turn
are
this
not
table.
making it work.
There are
Okay,
people. Let me just say this.
Okay.
You like what you like. Everybody has a right to choose what they want. There are people who are open to polygamy. I have friends that are open to polygamy. Find who likes polygamy and gravitate towards them.
Hold on. You're misunderstanding me. Now, I am not saying I support it. No. I'm just saying that after having lived for 50, almost 51 years, and been married for 28 of it, and I'm saying that from what I see around, I've heard, it looks as if that practice or that word, lie, fake, not be real thing. And I'm saying this, ask me why. I'm not talking
Why?
I support polygamy. No.
Why?
No, I would fight to my last blood against that. You understand? But then at the end of the day, I don't look around. What woman out there hasn't been affected? Is it Beyonce? Name all the Hollywood stars and everything. You understand? Even
but that doesn't mean it's general now. That doesn't mean it's general. You just use example of people where you don't do.
How many percent, my sister?
I can't put a percentage. Can you put a percentage on yours? You can't put a percentage on yours too now. I know as you talk, say you've looked around, right? And there are men who seem to always be stepping out.
Yeah.
In my own reality, there are a lot of men who do not step out. How about that? So
less than, So the people who step
not
out,
less than. You can't say less than because you can't put a percentage on it.
Hey.
You're speaking
Can I
from
ask you a
your
question
own.
then? Can
No,
I
wait,
ask you a
Adema,
question?
please. No. To Nigeria, wait, because I know say you like this thing now. Efrata don't come to your
I want to ask you a question. Very simple question.
Fantasy.
No, may I finish my thoughts.
All right, sis.
Make I finish. Not be Miss Sambo. I not read Miss Sambo first of all.
No,
I not read. I know all those
Sambo.
novels not do anything for me. If you talk about detective movies, Agatha Christie, now maybe that. Miss Sambo never was a trip for me. Now, what I'm saying is, everybody, you can't generalize anyone. There are people, yes. Are there men who polygamy is their way? Absolutely. Find another woman who likes polygamy. It's simple. There are women who are open to polygamy.
I agree.
Now, the same way, there are men who choose to be with one woman because it is less headache for them. They don't have the energy for bag, up and down.
Okay.
So for those men, they should find somebody, a partner that thinks along the same line. The problem is the mismatch. So a polygamous man go say, oh, I like this girl, I like him, he go pursue you, he go win your heart, he'll marry you. After like maybe how many years later, I go say, I want to bring another second wife enter. Or you find out that he has multiple girlfriends around the area. That is where the problem lies. People are not matching themselves correctly.
Okay, darling sis. Can I say something?
Absolutely.
You are 100% correct. I let me just say this, and I would really like you to find this video. It's what's his name now? Don Jazzy. He was interviewed on one Temisan's show a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry, on not Temisan, some other person, this guy that acts like a Hausa guy, short Igbo guy. Anyway, and what he was asked about what he feels, and I feel like he expressed it very well, better than I'm doing right now. Life being relationships, and he said, "Look, him, Don Jazzy, he doesn't see anything wrong with liking one woman and liking another woman. He doesn't understand the concept of I like you and I'm supposed to stop liking anybody else. So this is what I said to that. Fine. That guy didn't live in his truth. Now he has expressed himself saying, look, I'm not be one woman man. So if you're going to come to me, you have to understand that I'm not going to stay with only you alone. So that's what I'm saying is I agree with you when you're saying then let that be who you are. Tell the women, say, look, I'm not going to stay with one woman. I'm going to be, I'm going to look around. I'll be with other women. Can you? So make the woman make her choice. But the truth is this. That's why I said make everybody live in their truth. Some people don't know their truth. So if you enter into a marriage or relationship, and at that time you're young, 22, 24, you never really understand who you are. You never know the core of the person when you be. Your true self will start coming out when you don't be 35. Now you don't know to align with what you like. So you see people who come marry between 20 in the early 20s, early 30s. Come say now, so they won't marry one woman. At the end of the day, they find themselves stepping out because their true self don't they come out. So I agree with you when you say you have to say it. Say, I'm a polygamous man. I'm not monogamous. You go fit. Give the woman the choice. But that's not in the real life. Not really they happen like that mostly. Because most times when they go into the relationship, they don't think that they're going to step out. But as life goes on, they find themselves stepping out. So when you catch him, he apologizes and he does the same thing over and over again for the next 30 years of your marriage. And then you now have to make a choice. Am I going to continue or do I want to leave? That's the hard decision that you have to make for yourself. And then you have to tell yourself the truth also, to live in your truth. Am I the kind of woman that would stay without a man? Am I happy being a single, well, not a single mom, but, being separated and just living my life or whatever? So you see, these things are very complex. It's easy for us to,
It's not as complex as that, because I know people who, to Miss Top Notch's point, I know people who are solid in their marriages because that's the choice they've made. My dad, as a matter of fact, let me not even go too far. My dad married my mother. Why? He detested multiple wives idea because my grandfather on my mother's side had multiple wives, and he witnessed some of the issues and the concerns that came from that. Okay, my grandfather on my dad's side only married one woman. My grandmother passed away, so he had to marry another wife, right? So he had another woman after his first wife passed away. So everybody has their take. And to your point, there are people, you said that, sometimes men will not, they do. Some men tell you from the jump. I have met men like that. They tell me, you know what, I'm not a monogamous man. I like to have multiple women. So there's a chance that I'm going to have someone else. They tell you, and I'm talking about African men now. I'm talking about Nigerian men. There's nothing wrong with it. Yes, because when you know what you want, I'm dealing with matured men. I'm not dealing with little boys, right? That probably don't know what they want, right? So when you know what you want, it's easier for you because you're going to find people that will gravitate towards that honesty. The problem is where, okay, fine, you get married early. You don't really know what you're getting because you're still young. You don't really know who you are, what it is you want, right? And then 20 years later, you start to understand who you are and you have a kind of clarity as to how you want to live your life, right? In that instance, yes, both parties have to make a difficult decision. Now, if the woman chooses to stay and the man keeps doing the same thing, like stepping out on her over, what happens? That trauma is causing it because it's destroying the woman's self-esteem slowly but surely. Her confidence starts to go down, even though the man is having all the fun. She's not psychologically, starts to affect her. So do you want to stay in that kind of marriage and close your eye and keep taking it? Now that's up to them to decide, So I do agree with you. People need to live in their truth because I see it every day. I have African American friends that don't mind being multiple, being a second wife, being a third wife. They are open to it. So tell people what you want so you don't go and mismatch. You go and marry one girl that doesn't like wahala. After you marry and finish, 20 years later, you say you want to bring another Gbagbati come house. Which house? Polygamy is not as rosy as people think it is. Most of the people who have healthy polygamous marriages, maybe they had their way of doing it, but they are not in the majority.
There's
They're not
nothing
in the
really rosy
majority.
about polygamy. As far as
See,
men.
can I just add
Yeah,
something?
Tinaja, go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah.
though. They don't totori your truth, oh yeah.
There's nothing like that. See, it's true that we didn't evolve to be monogamous. I've said it before that 40% of men previously went on to procreate. What do you think happened to the 80% of women that actually procreate? They would not have husbands if you left only 40% of men to go with the 40% of women. Then the remaining 40%
There are
would be gone.
there are more women than men. That narrative does not work.
No, they are the same amount, but because of the hostile nature of the time before now, most of those men die. What you see today, many of 60% of men don't even go on to have children. So, but what you see today is that many of those men are alive that would be total losers before, that will not survive. They'll go on to have. That's why you see monogamy to an extent functioning right now. It's not the natural state. The point I said, we are hardwired to this. If a woman is hardwired to a point whereby when a child cries, her body responds to it, what do you think happens to the man too? These are hardwiring from millions of years of evolution that we just think we can just switch off like that without consequences. According to the lady that said that
every man is polygamous. Know that and free your soul. Not every man is going to be like you that wants to marry.
I'm not saying I want.
But when we say polygamy, we're not saying we support it, but we're saying that this is the data, the fact of most men that are stepping out in relationships.
Most rich men are not engaged in one relationship. Most of them.
Please.
Okay. Do you agree? Sorry, do you agree that most rich men are involved?
I grew up in the trenches. I grew up in the trenches of Lagos, and you know, matter whether na bricklayer. If you see woman we pass him, you go follow him. It's not about whether na bricklayer. If you don't care, you go use that in daily job money when he gets where they carry block carry. So no, rich or poor, man. It's just that the rich ones can fund their bad behavior. Sure, and then even the ladies too, they let them rest. You understand? Because they're looking for a place of rest. Somebody who carry their load. Yeah.
Polygamy is meant polygyny actually, but it is actually meant for the elite. The men that have accomplished a lot. So let me explain. Let me explain the importance of this. The reason why the highest performing men, the strongest men, benefit that society benefits from them procreating more is because you are getting the best, not the ones that are the weakest
men. Wait. Please, I want you to clarify what you mean by strong men. The stronger men get. Define your strong.
On your environment, let's say you are in the forest, the man that can go hunting, make sure you are safe from your enemies, raise strong children, genetically very, very fit. So those men are the ones that survive. When they survive, they go on to procreate, and nature by and large does that, the selection anyway, because it weeds out all the weak ones and keeps the strongest ones. And that's why when the polygamous ones, when they marry multiple wives, they go on to have stronger children that go on to do better. But
that's
if you just have
that's a lie. They grew up and they have dysfunctional children. Where your ear did?
Because you are modern eyes. You are not looking at it from how we evolved.
No. Most of those polygamous men made dysfunctional families. That's what we expect. They make us suffer today because they didn't have time to take care of those children, to imbibe values in them, to spend. They did not. So we are dealing with a lot of traumatized. No. I disagree with you, and your
definition. You're not letting me add my point.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm having a headache, but go ahead.
Yeah, because you don't want to exercise your thinking on this. What you are seeing.
I'm exercising my thinking. You don't want to think. All you think about is 1,450 wives. That's all you say. Anything that is contrary to that, your brain just shuts down automatically.
What you are described as the traumatic stuff is the failed. That's the weakened version. not the ones that our forefathers evolved with. The when we have been colonized, those are the ones we remember. We don't remember what came before
That
that.
is not
When things
true
were
again. To Nigeria, I'm
okay,
not going
what
to
do you
let
remember
you
now?
give
Were you
skewed.
around then?
I am not going to
Tell
let you
me
give
now.
skewed narratives here. No,
Misinformation.
Okay. I don't know what came before
what you
that. Do you
consider.
know?
Let me tell you. Do you know it wasn't again? Polygamy was not only for the elite. There were people who were having multiple wives because they wanted to. Why? They were looking for male children. Some of them, they go get like 16 wives looking for male children. That didn't mean that they were wealthy. Yes, there were those that had big farms. And remember, back then, they were having multiple children so that they could
Those were
farm the
elites.
land. They were not
They're
elites.
the 40% now.
They
They're the
were not
40%.
necessarily elites. Bano. Because guess what? They inherited lands, okay? They inherited lands, right?
True.
So there was no issue of money, okay? So there was no paper money. All they did was to grow their own food and did trade by barter. Now, it was not necessarily the most wealthy ones that could afford to have many wives. No. In some cases, they were looking for sons to carry forward the name. And they did not, all the wives they had could not have. Right? So they keep trying women, try marry join, until they get a male carryover son. That's what happened. Now, what happens? The man is now stuck with 100 children. Some of their names you don't even know. Okay, some of them they don't even have time to sit down and say, okay, my 100 children come and gather under this mango tree. Let me tell you people a story and value about life. It didn't happen. Those children were stuck with their mothers. The mothers were left to raise those children. Now, when it was time for them to grow up and maybe do other things, school was not an issue. So when you get to a certain age, you start learning to grow your own farm, and then you have to be thinking of marrying. That's how it continued. So suffering continued, and then these people, they will, and then sometimes they will say they marry and the wife could not have any children at all. There were women who were considered barren, couldn't have children, so the man had no choice but to keep marrying until he found a woman that was fruitful enough to have his children. So there were many dynamics to this. It just was not one tailored, only the strong. No, that was not the case, bro.
No, when you say only the ones that have big farms, you know, the ones that left the big farms for them were highly capable individuals. You don't get big farms from being a loser. So that is the thing we miss. These people are some of the best ones we have around. Okay, fine. If whatever you would like to think about it, it is how we an evolutionary thing that has happened for millions of years. I am not making it up. And even if you look into the animal kingdom, the same practices is going on. And when we want to function at our optimal level, we have to try to tailor it to be in alignment with what is already there. You have to use your strengths, not fight against your strengths. And what the West is doing right now, let's remember, the ones that built the West, we know, not these ones, not these ones that are doing metrosexual men all over the place. No, those ones are far more austere than our forefathers were. Our forefathers were like liberals compared to those ones that built this Europe you see today. So that is what we are missing. We are learning the wrong lessons from what is happening. And in my own case, okay, let me finalize my point here. The reason why I look at it differently is that we as a people, we have not reached our peak. As a people, not individuals, as a people, we have not reached our peak, choosing to copy other people and limit ourselves. That is what I consider catastrophic mistake, because other people maximize everything they've got, and we are choosing to limit ourselves because we buy into their systems. Why should we do that?
Okay, so when you say we buy into their system,
what does that mean?
What does it mean? I want to hear.
What that means is that, like when the Indian, Ugandan president said that Africa is 12 times the size of India, but has the same population of the size of India. It tells you that we are limiting ourselves, not like Indians did, because Indians clearly they have the same population as us, but it's 12 times smaller land mass. The same thing with China, the same thing with other groups in the world. Why is it ourselves? Because we are buying. We've got the technology that is available in the world right now dictates that we should be bigger than this. But we are buying into their family planning and all this stuff, limiting ourselves, just like we don't defend ourselves. Everything is designed to keep us small, and we are buying into it like everything else that I've described before today. And that's why
Okay, so
I'm against narrative.
So Naija, what you are advocating for is polygamy once again. We are back to this polygamy thing once again. That's what you are advocating
It doesn't
for.
have to be
For a
polygamy.
man. Okay, so what does it have to be? Because waiting does it have to be? I have to speak my language now.
My belief is that we should keep our families aligned. So we need our families to be intact, and we need to be able to grow our population.
What
and
do you
grow
mean
with the
aligned?
population.
Please break it down. Some of us not
Align
break
is
it.
that so that they don't, so the marriage is done. When people grow up in the modern society, they can still be able to remain married, have children, and still prosper. Because like one of the things I suggested was that instead of this thing where they make women chase their career first, then have children later, why not have children earlier, raise them, then go and chase your career later?
Okay,
Because
but guess what though? That has happened, and the women were not sent to school. What do you want to say about that? Because there were women who they advised to do that. Okay, they say, okay, you know what, you are in the house of husband right now, so just have your children, and later you go back to school. After doing that, the man say, lie, in which house? You are not going to know school, so you'll be better than me and now know book, and we'll be speaking English together. It ain't gonna happen. There are
that's
that,
the first time
and
I've
that's
ever
going to
heard that.
keep happening. Well,
no man
guess
will
what?
tell you
There's more people.
have children
There are
first.
more people who have experienced that than you know. You see the problem, because you're not a woman and you cannot put yourself in the position of a woman. It's very difficult for this opinion of yours to stick, to be honest with you, because what you are propagating here is for the men to have multiple wives so that the population will grow. Population will grow in which mess? The mess that Nigeria is in right now, the mess that the black race is in right now in every corner of the globe. Is that what you are? Is that where you are advocating more children to be? And when they do have these multiple children, what society, what healthy society are they bringing those children to? Will the women have value in such societies? Because what you are propagating, what you're asking for, is you want women to remain in the repressed corners. Because let me tell you, announcement, not every woman wants to have a child.
But that's not what I said. That's not what I said. I literally said that it makes sense, because I've seen a lot of women here extremely unhappy, going through all kinds of, you hear about all the IVF and all this stuff that they're going through in their later life. Try to omit all those things earlier on. Why put yourself through all that when you can do that earlier? In your 40s, people will live up to 80 now, and I think it's going to go up to 90. You have a long period of time. You are free. You've already procreated, and you can carry on with your life and go and enjoy and do whatever you want to do. And I think that's where the future should be headed.
There's a question here. As you they talk, they get question for you. What is a healthy, loving relationship to you?
A healthy, loving relationship is a relationship listen to each other's inputs. It's a kind of partnership where they care for each other, and I actually believe that the best relationship that involves marriages goes beyond just loving and all. It also involves an element of conscious decision making, like loyalty to the marriage and the children. So you have to consciously choose to remain there, sometimes even when it's not always what you necessarily like best. Not situations here, not what you don't like best. You choose to remain there because you understand what the bigger picture means. Because in reality, we actually make sacrifices all the time, but we are sacrificing for far lesser things than the next generation.
Okay, so choose to remain there. Wait. Choose to remain there in spite of suffering, in spite of abuse, in spite of all the traumas that could happen in the marriage. Is that what you are saying? Choose to remain in spite of? Because you have to be very clear on that one.
No, I completely delineated between difficulties and abuse, and I also said there is already suffering, but we are suffering for nothing. That is the problem. There's no purpose to it, and we forget
So
that
let me tell
everything we do
you,
in this life,
there's
there has to be purpose to it.
there's also no purpose to the suffering that you are saying you are trying to gloss over right now, because when you
There's a
have
purpose
people,
to it.
what's the purpose? Stay in the marriage and then you are suffering.
To raise a higher performing generation.
You cannot raise a higher performing children when the woman is depressed. And you don't
Like
you understand what I'm saying? There are so many issues. Let me tell you something.
You're including something that I've already excluded.
Let me
I've
tell
already
you
excluded
something.
the abusive stuff.
Okay, so what are you now saying in spite of now? What is the woman staying for? In spite of what?
I'm saying that you think women don't divorce and just abuse. Sometimes they are the ones that they met a guy they want to leave, and all the other kinds of dynamics are meant to do the same thing. So there are so many other dynamics, not only because of they are slapping each other is the reason why they divorce.
Can I say something?
Yeah, please, say something and I'll come to Debbie.
Yeah,
Debbie, welcome.
So what Tunanja is saying here is this. Remember what happened to Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky years back? You understand? So Monica Lewinsky did what she did. There was a scandal. But what Tunanja is saying is, look, but then the truth is people are different. Some people can bear, some no fee bear. But then, so if you're the kind, that's why I said know who you are and live in your truth. I said that when I made it. I said you have to sit down and evaluate yourself, your emotions. Can you look at? Are you the kind of person that can, stick in there and then look at the bigger picture? And then the bigger picture to you might not be what it is to me. To me, it might be I just want a life of comfort. Or I don't want to be a single woman out there and then people are tossing me back and forth. Because the truth of the matter is, if you step out of your marriage, in my opinion, and you go out there, you find out that the same men, they leave their wife, now they want to come hang out with. And that's the truth. It's a vicious world out there. And that's the
not necessarily. That's not the truth. That's not the truth.
Okay, fine. Look,
so you say it's your opinion, which is fair.
Okay, that's my opinion. That's my opinion based on what I've seen. Based on what I've seen and heard. Based on what I've seen and I've heard. So then that's when you have to know who you are and say, you know what? I'm not going to take this crap. I'm sick and tired of it. I'm emotionally, whatever, it's affecting me. And I'm going to choose to leave and then, and then do whatever I have to do with my life. While he continues in his polygamous ways, hopping around from place to place. So it's a personal decision, Sha. But, it's a personal decision. It's not anything that anybody can impose on anyone or ask anybody, why have you chosen to? Look at Hillary Clinton. She wanted to run for presidency. Apart from that, even when she not even win, she's not still with her husband till tomorrow. They are there.
Yeah, that's her choice. That's the choice she made.
That's what I mean by loyalty.
So
that's not loyalty. That one are loyalty for your ear because now the woman stay.
No, that's not.
Cannot be every woman can take that BS.
No, it's not loyalty.
Debbie, welcome.
It's not
welcome,
loyalty.
Debbie. Let's hear what you have to say.
It's a decision. Okay.
Hi, everyone. Hello?
Hi, we can hear you.
Here. I've been listening to the program. It's so interesting. Thanks for having me, though.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We won't beat to Nigeria. We won't gather.
Yes. Listening to him, and he's so funny. And there's a question I want to ask. What's a good marriage? What's a healthy marriage? Like when you think about the repercussions of going around, sleeping around, like having multiple partners. Me, I'm from a family where I can say my dad is not perfect, but he's a faithful man. Do you understand? Like people say they are not faithful men. He's a.
There are faithful men out there.
My dad. My dad. You understand? I've never they'll be like, oh, maybe he's not. By now we should have seen the signs, but he's a faithful man. So most of the time when I hear when men say they are not faithful men, it's a lie. His best friend, is a faithful man too. Now he's late. My dad's best friend is so when I hear that, like, I was raised in a very different way. So coming to America and hearing people say a whole lot, oh, they are faithful men. When you think about the diseases you get from, I've seen, like, I have friends and I'm like, you will not want to risk all these things, your health, for just like all this. They are not faithful men. I believe in most of the people from a polygamous home that I know, they will tell you they don't want to end up in that kind of situation.
Yeah.
So what are we saying? All these things that people are saying, oh, this, no. Why can't we just do the right thing?
The problem is that the men, let me tell you what the problem is. The men are refusing to control themselves. It's a lack of control. When some people come out and say, oh, we can't stay with one woman, now lack, they don't know if they are being deficient in their control. That's what it means.
But my dad stayed with
Are you sure?
It's surprising when men say that.
Is your dad ugly or something? So hold on. The way I meant it was that, is he like better?
Teenager, my papa resemble Ojuku.
You said something.
My papa resemble Ojuku.
Hold on, because
as
the dynamics sometimes can be different. Sometimes the women are so hot that the man knows
marry your 50 wife and live with 1,400 in peace. We don't follow you argue. You don't delay this topic of single women to your own.
My dad has money. His friend is stinkingly rich, and okay. You will not like.
Is your mother royalty or something? Or a lot? Like, is she really, really pretty and royalty?
Royalty. It's decency. It's you being decent.
Self-control. Not my two Niger.
Yeah.
No, so my thinking is that
people you hang around with. I don't know.
Let her finish. We've been interrupting Debbie.
Like,
please, Debbie.
This thing is decency, and it deals with people you hang around with. Because okay, if you're decent, let me tell you, like, you may have 5 friends, and even if one decent person is there, if he's been like, oh, I don't want to do this, his other friends may push him too. It takes a decent man. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I get what you mean.
They are faithful men. Okay, me as a lady, if I can decide to, like, okay, I'm with this man, what are they find outside? I lock up. It's just that man I'll look at. But I can also decide that, waiting this man carry. Make me myself today. You understand?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand. I can decide. Like, I have a friend that I get so mad at her. She'll be like, I don't have time. She's married and she does digging up and down. So
you hear them? Exactly.
Like, why do you think? And the other will get mad, and I'm like, what? Like, it's your decision. Leave or stay. Mm-hmm. So when you say the same way men do their things, that's the same way. You know, ladies even do more, but you don't catch
exactly. Background. Thank you very much for saying.
You will never. But when you catch us, you get mad, and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Think, oh, okay, who are you guys going to meet to cheat with? Who are you guys going to?
Another person's wife. Some people cheat on another person's wife.
Well, it's so surprising. You guys will be like, oh, yes, polygamy. Most of the polygamy. Okay, see your man that married how many wives? Do you know his wife sleeps around? The diseases that go around, like, you don't. If you think about the health, because I don't play with anything. My health, it's not worth it. So it's just me. To me, it's just the way of all these African men ego and all that. It's a lie. If you want to be decent, you be decent. Women eyes too, they're outside. We women, our eyes too, they're outside. Okay, you where they say look outside, you look one girl will get flat on. A woman too will be looking at a guy that has chest too. It's just that you guys don't know women cheat a lot. But because I know they catch us.
I'm glad
But
you are bringing that to the table because
at the
Omoye is
same
making it
time,
sound as if women are just saints.
I haven't gotten there. I told you that women do too. Absolutely. I agree with her. There's no argument there.
When a woman loves you and feel like, oh, this man a good guy, what are they find outside? She locks up. So as men too do that. But most of the time, I've seen friends that guys that are really good, and their other guys' friends be like, why you doing? They do like small picking. Why you don't understand? Still intimidating a guy that is faithful to his wife, and it's so common in an African community when you see a faithful guy to a woman, and they'll be, I mean, the woman don't use just for you.
Exactly.
Why?
Because those other ones cannot control themselves.
Why?
They must carry their dingaling, go outside, go the dingaling other people.
You know the funniest thing, they blame it on the Western world, like Western.
Yes.
Same Western world. This same America, you guys want to come. You are killing yourself coming too. But when it comes to a woman standing for herself, even it's not just a woman. See, all these sleeping, there are deadly diseases to it. That's why I don't play. That's why when people say, oh, if you think about the health issues with these things, she will not play with all these.
It's not even the health alone. Spiritually transmitted disease. That one, you'll not be having multiple personalities inside of you.
I never had that one, but spiritually transmitted disease. That's a new one.
But the health complications, people are having HIV because of the wife being faithful or the husband being faithful, the opposite sex not being faithful. No, it should not be. They are faithful people. They are faithful ladies and they are faithful men.
I know a lot of faithful men and women. That's my own reality.
All these things that they are saying, they are wealthy people that are faithful. If you don't want to be faithful, stay. Even people are single, they don't mess around. There are people that are single. Let's forget about.
Thank you. Say it loud for those in the back.
They're single people and they don't mess around. It's about being decent.
I agree with you. You know what the thing is, as long as they allow the others to be, doing what they want to do, like practice polygamy. What do you think? You notice what's going to happen in time? What's going to happen in time? Their children are the ones that are going to inherit the society. So those ones, but they don't tend to be the ones that their genes propagate over time. Like Genghis Khan now, the guy has, I think, 0.5% of the world population.
Genghis Khan of how many centuries? Please say the century of Genghis Khan. You say the century of Genghis Khan.
You know what? I walked into that one. I shouldn't have said that.
Oh, yeah, talk now. Since you don't mention now, which century Genghis Khan did? Talk out.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry, I have a comment for Tunaija. Tunaija, you said you are against all this baby mama culture, but you are not against polygamy.
Responsible ones. And the family needs to be together. Yes, the family has to be together.
Responsible about polygamy. Remember that if a man has multiple wives and have a lot of children, 9 times out of 10 is the mother that raised those children. The father is not in their life, even though he's in the same household with them.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not. You see, your definition of man. This involves too, but there are other aspects to it in terms of generational wealth, how it is passed down, and the protection that comes from being in a family unit. Remember, polygamy also offers an extra family protection where you have siblings that are, even if they have siblings, if they have siblings, they are still blood, and it means that you have a stronger unit as a family. So there are other advantages that comes from it, and not to mention the fact that these high performing men are the ones passing their genes to the next generation, not the ones that So it has all these benefits that filters through time.
As far as me I'm concerned, I mean, your opinion is your opinion. There's nothing positive about polygamy, in my own opinion. And monogamy works is the people
That's
that
how you
get
got
involved
here.
in. This is
polygamy is how you got here.
No, polygamy is not how I got here. My father and my mother, that's how I got here. Not from my great grandfather, what they've done before.
Yes.
From my father and my mother, I got
Because
here. I didn't
somebody,
grow up in a polygamy. So,
if we do the maths right now, I tell you that, the man that you are saying never cheated and
in
everything.
Nigeria, we are not
Because
in
the men that
1960
married,
or
no,
1600
no,
like
if we
people
do,
keep telling you. We are in 2023. We don't need to have multiple
you,
wives anymore. We don't have any farm that anybody will be farming,
Yeah.
or they need children to go to the farm. We don't need that. We need to move with time. What is working for us now? What will
yes.
work for us now? So
What do you they
monogamy
create for the
can work.
African society to make and
Exactly.
work
What
to be
has the polygamy? What
superpower?
has it done
That's what
for
you
us?
should be using your energy to focus on.
Not
Not be how you
having
want to
multiple wives
carry your
and
dingy
plenty
league,
children.
travel, marry 50,
Don't you
100 wives.
you see, that's the thing. You are always thinking about the this in the
But it's the truth now. It's
the
the reality
human.
now.
No, but that is not necessarily where I'm looking at it from, because children are power is power. It's not, we treat children as if they are just like a burden. It's not.
What are
Actually,
you
it's power.
providing for the children to come
Apart from
and meet?
exactly.
What are they
Yeah,
coming
but
to inherit?
What are they coming to meet?
a
What
world,
society are you creating for the children? Not be just to have numbers. The numbers what we get for the
What has
Nigeria
it
where
done
we dey
for
so,
us?
over how many millions of people dey poverty? Most of them children. Are you freaking kidding me? I beg. I
Let's
want
face
wrap up
maybe
the
reality.
because
show. Wait till Naija don dey
maybe
give me
because we are
headache.
thin on the ground, and that's why. Maybe because we are thin on the ground, that's why we are stressed, and
It's not
things are
because we are
becoming
No,
thin,
difficult
not be
for
there
us.
they born you, not be there you
carry
suppose,
on.
not be there they born you. What you don't do, what you don't create.
Yeah, but
How many
I'm,
things you don't do when you go make
but
life better for your children? Now
oh
we
god,
they talk. The ones that they grow, how many you don't take care of? That's the question. That's
that
the cocoa of the matter. No, they come here, they talk, say, oh, this or that one. Go and live in the 11th century when Genghis Khan was around. That time, all this one you they
come on,
talk, go they functional.
I am
Time
in
travel
support of
back to Genghis
responsible
Khan time.
parenting.
Time travel.
My
I'm
own
not
is that
time traveling.
monogamy
I'm
works.
responsible.
It's the people that are involved that doesn't make it work. And if you are a polygamous person, choose a polygamous partner. If you are a monogamous person, choose a monogamous partner.
Ló
Ló
bá
bá
tán.
tán, kò jù
Okay,
bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. It's no more
can we
than
do
that.
this? Can we do this maths? Can we do this maths then and
Do
see
Naija, me I don
what the
tire abeg. I want to go
consequences
and
are?
sleep. It's
You don't,
after 11.
can you?
I
No,
go
because I
do
wanted
part
to
two
distill it
tomorrow.
down
I
so
dey
we see the
go.
consequences of
Bye-bye.
being
I go
monogamous
do
versus being
Bimpe, thank you
polygamous.
very much.
Welcome.
Next time, the next topic I'm going to
Next
have,
topic,
I'm
no
going to say,
wahala.
so that you can come and talk your stomach full. To
Yeah.
Naija. I will say monogamy and polygamous. Which side you dey? Everybody will choose their side. All the polygamous people go argue for polygamy. All the single people, all the the monogamous people will argue for their side. We'll see who will win in this generation. Remember, it's not 1400. Just FYI.
I'm not sure I'm even advocating polygamy. I don't know where I'm saying we just need to grow our population. And the conclusion is that we need polygamy to do that.
That's
what I'm saying.
Why are you, Tony? They use sense. That's what you are doing.
Because I don't want to be
Well, good night
because
to Naija. Next
good
time,
night.
I go schedule this topic. Come back, come debate, and come and talk your chest full. Come and
Yes,
say
I
everything
think that would
inside
be
your
good.
mind. I will schedule it, and then you will definitely get a notification once I schedule it. My people,
All right,
it's been a real night. Debbie, I want to thank you so much for coming in and stating the facts to Naija, whether he likes to hear it or not. I really want to appreciate Ephrata Catfish. Thank you so much, sis, for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful night. Marriott, thank you so much. Bimpe, my darling sister, good night. Oh, please stay warm. People should wrap up like burrito. I don't understand the weather anymore. Miss Top Notch, thank you so much. Thank you all in the comment section. Chinwe, Egosa, thank you so much. Hey, sleep don't they catch you? They don't they bray. Oh, Egosa, sorry. Oh, I hope you sleep in tomorrow. You don't really have to do much. Oh, Jude was here. Jude, hello. I didn't see your comment on time. Who else? So hope I'm not Neka, my darling. Have a wonderful night. Oh, una do well. Oh, highly favored. I'm sure she went to sleep already. Thank you so much, Mirabel. That one don't hit bed since. Mirabel, I love you. Bio, my brother, long time. Trust you're well. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks to everyone. If I did not mention your name, Abemona no Versu. The gracious greatness. Thank you very much for sending that video. I appreciate. When I get good night to go talk, we go jam again. I go schedule another one. This time monogamy or versus polygamy. Make two Naija can get chance. Power to exhaust all in polygamy, polygamous intentions. We want to hear it. And all those for monogamy, you people should be ready. The battle line has been drawn. Monogamy versus polygamy. Get ready, people. So anyway, if you're catching this on replay, let me know your thoughts. Thank you for coming. And don't forget to like the video on your way out. Share, subscribe if you have not yet already. And don't forget to click on the notification bell once you get a video. All right, guys, it's been real. Good night. Bye.